Part X. Political Dynamics. 69 Political Parties. 70 Role of Regional Parties. 71 Elections. 72 Election Laws. 73 Electoral Reforms. 74 Voting Behavior. 75 Coalition Government. 76 Anti-Defection Law. 77 Pressure Groups. 78 National Integration. 79 Foreign Policy. 69 Political Parties. Meaning and types. Political parties are voluntary associations or organized groups of individuals who share the same political views and who try to gain political power through constitutional means and who desire to work for promoting the national interest. There are four types of political parties in the modern democratic states, viz. I. Reactionary parties which cling to the old socio-economic and political institutions. 2. Conservative parties which believe in the status quo. 3. Liberal parties which aim at reforming the existing institutions. And 4. Radical parties which aim at establishing a new order by overthrowing the existing institutions. In their classification of political parties on the basis of ideologies, the political scientists have placed the radical parties on the left and the liberal parties in the center and reactionary and conservative parties on the right. In other words, they are described as the leftist parties, centrist parties, and the rightist parties. In India, the CPI and CPM are the examples of leftist parties, the Congress of centrist parties and the BJP is an example of rightist parties. There are three kinds of party systems in the world, viz. I. One-party system in which only one ruling party exists and no opposition is permitted, as for example, in the former communist countries like the USSR and other East European countries. 2. Two-party system in which two major parties exists, as for example, in USA and Britain. 1. And 3. Multi-party system in which there are a number of political parties leading to the formation of coalition governments, as for example, in France, Switzerland and Italy. Party system in India. The Indian party system has the following characteristic features. Multi-party system. The continental size of the country, the diversified character of Indian society, the adoption of universal adult franchise, the peculiar type of political process, and other factors have given rise to a large number of political parties. In fact, India has the largest number of political parties in the world. On the eve of 17th Lok Sabha general elections, 2019, there were 7 national parties, 52 state parties and 2,354 registered, unrecognized parties in the country too. Further, India has all categories of parties, left parties, centrist parties, right parties, communal parties, non-communal parties, and so on. Consequently, the hung parliaments, hung assemblies, and coalition governments have become a common phenomena. One dominant party system. In spite of the multi-party system, the political scene in India was dominated for a long period by the Congress. Hence, Rajni Kothari, an eminent political analyst, preferred to call the Indian party system as one-party dominance system or the Congress system. 3. The dominant position enjoyed by the Congress has been declining since 1967 with the rise of regional parties and other national parties like Janata, 1977, Janata Dal, 1989, and the BJP, 1991, leading to the development of a competitive multi-party system. Lack of clear ideology. Except the BJP and the two communist parties, CPI and CPM, all other parties do not have a clear-cut ideology. They, i.e., all other parties, are ideologically closer to each other. They have a close resemblance in their policies and programs. Almost every party advocates democracy, secularism, socialism, and Gandhism. More than this, every party, including the so-called ideological parties, is guided by only one consideration: power capture. Thus, politics has become issue-based rather than the ideology, and pragmatism has replaced the commitment to the principles. Personality cult. Quite often, the parties are organized around an eminent leader who becomes more important than the party and its ideology. Parties are known by their leaders rather than by their manifesto. It is a fact that the popularity of the Congress was mainly due to the leadership of Nehru, Indira Gandhi, and Rajiv Gandhi. Similarly, the ANK in Tamil Nadu and TDP in Andhra Pradesh got identified with M.G. Ramachandran and N.T. Ramarao respectively. Interestingly, several parties bear the name of their leader like Biju Janata Dal, Lok Dal, A, Congress, I, and so on. Hence, it is said that there are political personalities rather than political parties in India. Based on traditional factors. In the Western countries, the political parties are formed on the basis of socio-economic and political program. On the other hand, a large number of parties in India are formed on the basis of religion, caste, language, culture, race, and so on. For example, Shiv Sena, Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha, Akali Dal, Muslim Majlis, Bahujan Samaj Party, Republican Party of India, Gorkha League, and so on. These parties work for the promotion of communal and sectional interests and thereby undermine the general public interest. Emergence of regional parties. Another significant feature of the Indian party system is the emergence of a large number of regional parties and their growing role. They have become the ruling parties in various states like BJD in Orissa, DMK or ANK in Tamil Nadu, Akali Dal in Punjab, AGP in Assam, National Conference in JNK, JD-U, in Bihar and so on. In the beginning, they were confined to the regional politics only. But, of late, they have come to play a significant role in the national politics due to coalition governments at the center. In the 1984 elections, the TDP emerged as the largest opposition party in the Lok Sabha. Factions and defections. Factionalism, defections, splits, mergers, fragmentation, polarization and so on have been an important aspect of the functioning of political parties in India. Lust for power and material considerations have made the politicians to leave their party and join another party or start a new party. The practice of defections gained greater currency after the fourth general elections, 1967. This phenomenon caused political instability both at the center and in the states and led to disintegration of the parties. Thus, there are 2 Janata Dals, 2 TDPs, 2 DMKs, 2 Communist parties, 2 Congress, 3 Akali Dals, 3 Muslim leagues and so on. Lack of effective opposition. An effective opposition is very essential for the successful operation of the parliamentary democracy prevalent in India. It checks the autocratic tendencies of the ruling party and provides an alternative government. However, in the last 50 years, an effective, strong, organized and viable national opposition could never emerge except in flashes. The opposition parties have no unity and very often adopt mutually conflicting positions with respect to the ruling party. They have failed to play a constructive role in the functioning of the body politic and in the process of nation building. Recognition of national and state parties. The Election Commission registers political parties for the purpose of elections and grants them recognition as national or state parties on the basis of their poll performance. The other parties are simply declared as registered unrecognized parties. The recognition granted by the Commission to the parties determines their right to certain privileges like allocation of the party symbols, provision of time for political broadcasts on the state-owned television and radio stations and access to electoral rolls. Further, the recognized parties need only one proposer for filing the nomination. Also, these parties are allowed to have 40 star campaigners during the time of elections and the registered unrecognized parties are allowed to have 20 star campaigners. The travel expenses of these star campaigners are not included in the election expenditure of the candidates of their parties. Every national party is allotted a symbol exclusively reserved for its use throughout the country. Similarly, every state party is allotted a symbol exclusively reserved for its use in the state or states in which it is so recognized. A registered unrecognized party, on the other hand, can select a symbol from a list of free symbols. In other words, the Commission specifies certain symbols as reserved symbols which are meant for the candidates set up by the recognized parties and others as free symbols which are meant for other candidates. Conditions for recognition as a national party. At present, 2019, a party is recognized as a national party if any of the following conditions is fulfilled for: 1. If it secures 6% of valid votes polled in any 4 or more states at a general election to the Lok Sabha or to the Legislative Assembly, and, in addition, it wins 4 seats in the Lok Sabha from any state or states, or 2. If it wins 2% of seats in the Lok Sabha at a general election, and these candidates are elected from 3 states, or 3. If it is recognized as a state party in 4 states. Conditions for recognition as a state party. At present, 2019, a party is recognized as a state party in a state if any of the following conditions is fulfilled. 5. 1. If it secures 6% of the valid votes polled in the state at a general election to the Legislative Assembly of the state concerned, and, in addition, it wins 2 seats in the Assembly of the state concerned, or 2. If it secures 6% of the valid votes polled in the state at a general election to the Lok Sabha from the state concerned, and, in addition, it wins 1 seat in the Lok Sabha from the state concerned, or 3. If it wins 3% of seats in the Legislative Assembly at a general election to the Legislative Assembly of the state concerned, or 3 seats in the Assembly, whichever is more, or 4. If it wins 1 seat in the Lok Sabha for every 25 seats or any fraction thereof allotted to the state at a general election to the Lok Sabha from the state concerned, or 5. If it secures 8% of the total valid votes polled in the state at a general election to the Lok Sabha from the state or to the Legislative Assembly of the state. This condition was added in 2011. The number of recognized parties keeps on changing on the basis of their performance in the general elections. On the eve of the 17th Lok Sabha general elections, 2019, there were 7 national parties, 52 state parties and 2,354 registered unrecognized parties in the country. 6. The national parties and state parties are also known as All India parties and regional parties respectively. Table 69.1 Recognized national parties and state parties, 1st to 17th general elections. General elections, year. Number of national parties. Number of state parties. First, 1952. 14. 39. Second, 1957. 4. 11. Third, 1962. 6. 11. Fourth, 1967. 7. 14. Fifth, 1971. 8. 17. Sixth, 1977. 5. 15. Seventh, 1980. 6. 19. Eighth, 1984. 7. 19. Ninth, 1989. 8. 20. 10th, 1991. 9. 28. 11th, 1996. 8. 30. 12th, 1998. 7. 30. 13th, 1999. 7. 40. 14th, 2004. 6. 36. 15th, 2009. 7. 40. 16th, 2014. 6. 47. 17th, 2019. 7. 52. Table 69.2 Recognized national parties and their symbols, 2019. SL No. Name of the party, abbreviation. Symbol reserved. 1. Bahujan Samaj Party, BSP. Elephant asterisk. 2. Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. Lotus. 3. Communist Party of India, CPI. Ears of Corn and Sickle. 4. Communist Party of India, Marxist, CPM. Hammer, Sickle and Star. 5. Indian National Congress, Inc. Hand. 6. Nationalist Congress Party, NCP. Clock. 7. All India Trinamool Congress, AITC. Flowers and Grass. 8. National People's Party, NPP. Book. Asterisk in all states/u.t.s except in Assam, where its candidates will have to choose a symbol out of the list of free symbols specified by the Election Commission. Table 69.3 Recognized State Parties and Their Symbols, 2019. SL No. Name of the state/union territory. Name of the state party, abbreviation. Symbol reserved. 1. Andhra Pradesh. 1 Telangana Rashtra Samithai, TRS 7. Car. 2 Telugu Desam, TDP. Bicycle. 3 Yuvahana Sramika Rithu Congress Party, YSRCP. Ceiling fan. 2. Arunachal Pradesh. 1 People's Party of Arunachal, PPA. Maize. 2 Janata Dal, United, JD, U. Arrow. 3 Janata Dal, Secular, JD, S. A lady farmer carrying paddy on her head. 3. Assam. 1 All India United Democratic Front, AUDF. Lock and Key. 2 Assam Gana Parishad, AGP. Elephant. 3 Bodoland People's Front, BPF. Nangal. 4. Bihar. 1 Janata Dal, United, JD, U. Arrow. 2 Lok Jan Shakti Party, LJSP. Bungalow. 3 Rashtriya Janata Dal, RJD. Hurricane Lamp. 4 Rashtriya Lok Samtha Party, RLSP. Ceiling Fan. 5. Chhattisgarh. Janata Congress Chhattisgarh, JCC. Farmer Ploughing, within square. 6. Goa. 1 Maharashtra Wadi Gomantak, MAG. Lion. 2 Goa Forward Party, GFP. Coconut. 7. Haryana. Indian National Lok Dal, INLD. Spectacles. 8. Jammu and Kashmir. 1 Jammu and Kashmir National Conference, JKNC. Plough. 2 Jammu and Kashmir National Panthers Party, JKNPP. Bicycle. 3 Jammu and Kashmir People's Democratic Party, JKPDP. Inkpot and pen. 9. Jharkhand. 1 All Jharkhand Students Union, AJSU. Banana. 2 Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, JMM. Bow and Arrow. 3 Jharkhand Vikas Morcha, Prajatantrike, JBM, P. Comb. 4 Rashtriya Janata Dal, RJD. Hurricane Lamp. 10. Karnataka. Janata Dal, Secular, JD, S. A lady farmer carrying paddy on her head. 11. Kerala. 1 Janata Dal, Secular, JD, S. A lady farmer carrying paddy on her head. 2 Kerala Congress, M, Kek, M. 2 Leaves. 3 Indian Union Muslim League, IUML. Ladder. 4 Revolutionary Socialist Party, RSP. Spade and Stoker. 12. Maharashtra. 1 Maharashtra Navnirman Sena, MNS. Railway Engine. 2 Shiv Sena, SHS. Bow and Arrow. 13. Manipur. 1 Naga People's Front, NPF. Cock. 2 People's Democratic Alliance, PDA. Crown. 14. Meghalaya. 1 United Democratic Party, UDP. Drum. 2 Hill State People's Democratic Party, HSPDP. Lion. 3 People's Democratic Front, PDF. Candles. 15. Mizoram. 1 Mizo National Front, MNF. Star. 2 Mizoram People's Conference, MPC. Electric Bulb. 3 Zoram Nationalist Party, ZNP. Sun, without rays. 16. Nagaland. 1 Naga People's Front, NPF. Cock. 2 Nationalist Democratic Progressive Party, NDPP. Globe. 17. NCT of Delhi. AAM Aadmi Party, AAP. Broom. 18. Odisha. Biju Janata Dal, BJD. Conk. 19. Puducherry. 1 All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, ADMK, or, AIDMK. 2 Leaves. 2 All India NR Congress, INRC. Jug. 3 Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, DMK. Rising Sun. 4 Padali Makal Kachi, PMK. Mango. 20. Punjab. 1 Shromni Akali Dal, SAD. Scales. 2 AAM Aadmi Party, AAP. Broom. 21. Rajasthan. Rashtriya Loktantrik Party, RLP. Bottle. 22. Sikkim. 1 Sikkim Democratic Front, SDF. Umbrella. 2 Sikkim Krantikari Morcha, SKM. Table Lamp. 23. Tamil Nadu. 1 All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, ADMK, or, AIDMK. 2 Leaves. 2 Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, DMK. Rising Sun. 3 Dasaya Murpaka Dravida Kazhagam, DMDK. Nagara. 24. Telangana. 1 All India Majlisi Ittihadul Muslimin, AMIM. Kite. 2 Telangana Rashtra Samithai, TRS. Car. 3 Telugu Desam, TDP. Bicycle. 4 Yuvahana Sramika Rithu Congress Party, YSRCP, 8. Ceiling Fan. 25. Tripura. Indigenous Peoples Front of Tripura, IPFT. Deo. 26. Uttar Pradesh. 1 Rashtriya Lok Dal, RLD. Hand Pump. 2 Samajwadi Party, SP. Bicycle. 27. West Bengal. 1 All India Forward Bloc, AIFB. Lion. 2 Revolutionary Socialist Party, RSP. Spade and Stoker. Table 69.4 Formation of Political Parties, Chronological Order. SL No. Name of the party, abbreviation. Year of formation. 1. Indian National Congress, Inc. 1885. 2. Shromni Akali Dal, SAD. 1920. 3. Communist Party of India, CPI. 1925. 4. Jammu and Kashmir National Conference, JKNC. 1939. 5. All India Forward Bloc, AIFB. 1939. 6. Revolutionary Socialist Party, RSP. 1940. 7. Indian Union Muslim League, IUML. 1948. 8. Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, DMK. 1949. 9. Mizo National Front, MNF. 1961. 10. Maharashtra Wadi Gomantak Party, MAG. 1963. 11. Communist Party of India, Marxist, CPM. 1964. 12. Shiv Sena, SHS. 1966. 13. Mizoram People's Conference, MPC. 1972. 14. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, JMM. 1972. 15. All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, ANK. 1972. 16. Kerala Congress, M. KEK, M. 1979. 17. Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. 1980. 18. Telugu Desam Party, TDP. 1982. 19. Bahujan Samaj Party, BSP. 1984. 20. Assam Gana Parishad, AGP. 1985. 21. People's Party of Arunachal, PPA. 1987. 22. Samajwadi Party, SP. 1992. 23. Sikkim Democratic Front, SDF. 1993. 24. Rashtriya Lok Dal, RLD. 1996. 25. Zoram Nationalist Party, ZNP. 1997. 26. Rashtriya Janata Dal, RJD. 1997. 27. Biju Janata Dal, BJD. 1997. 28. All India Trinamool Congress, AITC. 1998. 29. Indian National Lok Dal, INLD. 1998. 30. Jammu and Kashmir People's Democratic Party, PDP. 1999. 31. Janata Dal, United, JD, U. 1999. 32. Janata Dal, Secular, JD, S. 1999. 33. Nationalist Congress Party, NCP. 1999. 34. Lokjan Shakti Party, LJSP. 2000. 35. Telangana Rashtra Samithai, TRS. 2001. 36. Naga People's Front, NPF. 2002. 37. All India United Democratic Front, AUDF. 2004. 38. Desaya Murpaka Dravidar Kazhagam, DMDK. 2005. 39. Maharashtra Navnirman Sena, MNS. 2006. 40. Jharkhand Vikas Morcha, Prajatantrike, JVM, P. 2006. 41. Indigenous Peoples Front of Tripura, IPFT. 2009. 42. Yuvahanas Ramikaritha Congress Party, YSRCP. 2011. 43. All India NR Congress, INRC. 2011. 44. AAM My Party, AAP. 2012. 45. National People's Party, NPP. 2013. 46. Rashtriya Lok Samtha Party, RLSP. 2013. 47. Sikkim Krantikari Morcha, SKM. 2013. 48. Goa Forward Party, GFP. 2016. 49. Janata Congress Chhattisgarh, JCC. 2016. 50. People's Democratic Front, PDF. 2017. 51. National Democratic Progressive Party, NDPP. 2018. 52. Rashtriya Loktantrik Party, RLP. 2018. Notes and references. 1. The two parties in the US are Democratic and Republican, and in Britain are Conservative and Labour. 2. As per the notifications issued by the Election Commission of India dated March 15, 2019 and April 1, 2019. 3. Rajni Kothari, Congress System in India, Asian Survey, Volume 4, Number 12, December, 1964, pages 1 to 18. 4. The Election Symbols, Reservation and Allotment, Order, 1968, as amended from time to time. The latest amendment to this order was made in 2011. 5. Ibid. 6. See reference to above. 7. As per the notification issued by the Election Commission of India dated March 15, 2019. 8. Ibid. 70. Role of regional parties. The presence of a large number of regional parties is an important feature of the Indian political system. They have come to play a vital role in Indian politics at all levels, i.e. local, state and national. This is more so in the context of the new era of coalition politics. Features of regional parties. Following are the features of a regional party. 1. It generally operates within a particular state or specific region. Its electoral base is limited to a single region. 2. It articulates regional interests and identifies itself with a particular cultural, religious, linguistic, or ethnic group. 3. It is primarily concerned with exploiting the local resources of discontent or preserving a variety of primordial demands based on language, caste, or community or region. 1. 4. It focuses on local or regional issues and aims to capture political power at the state level. It has no inclination to expand and control the central government. 5. It has a political desire for greater regional autonomy of states in the Indian Union too. Classification of regional parties. The various regional parties in India can be classified into the following 4 categories. 1. Those regional parties which are based on the regional culture or ethnicity. These include Shromani Akali Dal, National Conference, DMK, AIDMK, Telugu Desam, Shiv Sena, Assam Gana Parishad, Mizo National Front, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha and so on. 2. Those regional parties which have an all-India outlook but lack a national electoral base. The examples are Indian National Lok Dal, All India Forward Bloc, Revolutionary Socialist Party, Samajwadi Party, Nationalist Congress Party and so on. 3. Those regional parties which have been formed by a split in national parties. For example, Bangla Congress, Bharatiya Kranti Dal, Utkal Congress, Kerala Congress, Telangana Praja Samithai, Biju Janata Dal, Rashtriya Janata Dal, Janata Party, Samajwadi Janata Party, Samata Party, Trinamool Congress, YSR Congress, and so on. 4. Those regional parties which have been formed by individual leaders on the basis of their charismatic personality. These are called as personalized parties and they are short-lived. The examples are Lok Jan Shakti Party, Haryana Vikas Party, Himachal Vikas Congress, Congress, J, and so on. Rise of regional parties. There are multiple reasons for the emergence of regional parties in India. These are as follows. 1. Cultural and ethnic pluralism of the Indian society. 2. Economic disparities and regional imbalances in the development. 3. Desire of certain sections or areas to maintain separate identity due to historical factors. 4. Self-interest of the deposed Maharajas and dispossessed zamindars. 5. Failure of national politics to meet the regional aspirations. 6. Reorganization of states on the basis of language. 7. Charismatic personality of the regional leaders. 8. Factional fights within the larger parties. 9. Centralizing tendencies of the Congress Party. 10. Absence of a strong opposition party at the central level. 11. Role of caste and religion in the political process. 12. Alienation and discontentment among the tribal groups. Role of regional parties. The following points highlight the role played by the regional parties in Indian politics. 1. They have provided better governance and a stable government at the regional level. 2. They have posed a challenge to the one-party dominant system in the country and led to a decline in the domination of the Congress Party. 3. They have made a strong impact on the nature and course of center-state relations. The tension areas in center-state relations and the demand for grant of greater autonomy made the central leadership more responsive to the needs of the regional actors. 4. They have made politics more competitive and popular participation in the political process more extensive at the grassroots. 5. They have widened the choice for voters in both the parliamentary and assembly elections. The voters can vote for that party which aims to promote the interest of their state/region. 6. They have increased the political consciousness of the people and also their interest in politics. They bring into focus the local or regional issues which immediately attract the attention of the masses. 7. They provided a check against the dictatorial tendencies of the central government. They opposed the ruling Congress Party at the center on certain issues and forced the dominant party to be more reasonable in its approach to the process of conflict resolution. 8. They have made a significant contribution for the successful functioning of parliamentary democracy. In a parliamentary democracy, the minority must have its say, the majority must have its way, and the regional parties have played this role successfully by being ruling parties in some states and opposition parties at the center. 9. They have succeeded in exposing the partisan role of the governors in the appointment and dismissal of the chief minister, in issuing of ordinances and reservation of bills for the consideration of the President. 8. 10. After the dawn of the era of coalition politics, the regional parties have assumed an important role in national politics. They have joined the coalition governments formed at the center and shared power with the national parties. 9. Dysfunctions of regional parties. However, there are also negative points in the role of regional parties. These are as follows. 1. They have given more importance to regional interests rather than national interests. They have neglected the implications and consequences of their narrow approach to the resolution of national issues. 2. They have encouraged regionalism, codism, linguism, communalism and tribalism which have become hurdles to national integration. 3. They are responsible for the unresolution of the interstate water disputes, interstate border disputes and other interstate issues. 4. They have also indulged in corruption, nepotism, favoritism, and other forms of misutilization of power in order to promote their self-interest. 5. They have focused more on the populist schemes and measures to expand and strengthen their electoral base. This has adversely affected the state economy and development. 6. They bring in regional factor in the decision-making and the policy-making by the coalition government at the center. They force the central leadership to yield to their demands. 10. Notes and references. 1. Observation made by Stanley A. Kutnak in Ramreddy, G. and Sharma, B.A.V., Regionalism in India, A Study of Telangana, Concept Publishers, New Delhi, 1979, pages 87-88. 2. Brass, P.R., The Politics of India Since Independence, 2nd edition, Cambridge University Press, Cambridge, UK, 1993, p. 89. 3. Bomwal, K.R., Regional Parties in Indian Politics, A Preview. In Bhatnagar, S. and Kumar, P. eds, Regional Political Parties in India, S. Publications, Delhi, 1988, pages 1-16. 4. Ibid. 5. Ibid. 6. Savach, J.R., Dynamics of Indian Government and Politics, 2nd edition, Sterling Publishers Private Limited, New Delhi, 1990, p. 865. 7. Ibid. 8. Ibid. 9. For more details in this regard, see Chapter 75. 10. Ibid. 71. Elections. Electoral system. Articles 324 to 329 in Part 15 of the Constitution make the following provisions with regard to the electoral system in our country. 1. The Constitution, Article 324, provides for an independent election commission in order to ensure free and fair elections in the country. The power of superintendence, direction, and conduct of elections to the Parliament, the state legislatures, the office of the President and the office of the Vice President is vested in the Commission 1. At present, the Commission consists of a Chief Election Commissioner and 2 Election Commissioners 2. There is to be only 1 general electoral roll for every territorial constituency for election to the Parliament and the state legislatures. Thus, the Constitution has abolished the system of communal representation and separate electorates which led to the partition of the country. 3. No person is to be ineligible for inclusion in the electoral roll on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, or any of them. Further, no person can claim to be included in any special electoral roll for any constituency on grounds only of religion, race, caste, or sex or any of them. Thus, the Constitution has accorded equality to every citizen in the matter of electoral franchise. 4. The elections to the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies are to be on the basis of adult franchise. Thus, every person who is a citizen of India and who is 183 years of age, is entitled to vote at the election provided he is not disqualified under the provisions of the Constitution or any law made by the appropriate legislature, parliament or state legislature, on the ground of non-residence, unsound mind, crime or corrupt or illegal practice. 4. 5. Parliament may make provision with respect to all matters relating to elections to the Parliament and the state legislatures including the preparation of electoral rolls, the delimitation of constituencies and all other matters necessary for securing their due constitution. 6. The state legislatures can also make provision with respect to all matters relating to elections to the state legislatures including the preparation of electoral rolls and all other matters necessary for securing their due constitution. But, they can make provision for only those matters which are not covered by the Parliament. In other words, they can only supplement the parliamentary law and cannot override it. 7. The Constitution declares that the validity of any law relating to the delimitation of constituencies or the allotment of seats to such constituencies cannot be questioned in any court. Consequently, the orders issued by the Delimitation Commission become final and cannot be challenged in any court. 8. The Constitution lays down that no election to the Parliament or the state legislature is to be questioned except by an election petition presented to such authority and in such manner as provided by the appropriate legislature. Since 1966, the election petitions are treatable by high courts alone. But, the appellate jurisdiction lies with the Supreme Court alone. Article 323b empowers the appropriate legislature, Parliament or state legislature, to establish a tribunal for the adjudication of election disputes. It also provides for the exclusion of the jurisdiction of all courts, except the special leave appeal jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, in such disputes. So far, no such tribunal has been established. It must be noted here that in Chandrakumar Case 5, 1997, the Supreme Court declared this provision as unconstitutional. Consequently, if at any time an election tribunal is established, an appeal from its decision lies to the High Court. Election machinery. Election Commission of India, ECI. Under Article 324 of the Constitution of India, the Election Commission of India is vested with the power of superintendence, direction, and control of conducting the elections to the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. The Election Commission of India is a 3-member body, with 1 Chief Election Commissioner and 2 Election Commissioners. The President of India appoints the Chief Election Commissioner and the Election Commissioners. Chief Electoral Officer, CEO. The Chief Electoral Officer of a state/union territory is authorized to supervise the election work in the state/union territory subject to the overall superintendence, direction, and control of the Election Commission. The Election Commission of India nominates or designates an officer of the government of the state/union territory as the Chief Electoral Officer in consultation with that state government/union territory administration. District Election Officer, DEO. Subject to the superintendence, direction, and control of the Chief Electoral Officer, the District Election Officer supervises the election work of a district. The Election Commission of India nominates or designates an officer of the state government as the district election officer in consultation with the state government. Returning Officer, RO. The returning officer of a parliamentary or assembly constituency is responsible for the conduct of elections in the parliamentary or assembly constituency concerned. The Election Commission of India nominates or designates an officer of the government or a local authority as the returning officer for each of the assembly and parliamentary constituencies in consultation with the state government/union territory administration. In addition, the Election Commission of India also appoints one or more assistant returning officers for each of the assembly and parliamentary constituencies to assist the returning officer in the performance of his functions in connection with the conduct of elections. Electoral Registration Officer, ERO. The Electoral Registration Officer is responsible for the preparation of electoral rolls for a parliamentary/assembly constituency. The Election Commission of India, in consultation with the state/UT government, appoints an officer of the government or the local authorities as the Electoral Registration Officer. In addition, the Election Commission of India also appoints one or more assistant electoral registration officers to assist the electoral registration officer in the performance of his functions in the matter of preparation/revision of electoral rolls. Presiding Officer. The presiding officer with the assistance of polling officers conducts the poll at a polling station. The district election officer appoints the presiding officers and the polling officers. In the case of union territories, such appointments are made by the returning officers. Observers. The Election Commission of India nominates officers of government as observers for parliamentary and assembly constituencies. These observers are of various kinds. 6. 1. General observers. The Commission deploys general observers in adequate number to ensure smooth conduct of elections. These observers are asked to keep a close watch on every stage of the electoral process to ensure free and fair elections. 2. Expenditure observers. Expenditure observers from central government services are appointed to keep a close watch on election expenditure of the candidates and to ensure that no inducement is offered to the electors during the entire election process for exercise of their franchise. 3. Police observers. The Commission deploys IPS officers as police observers at state and district levels, depending upon the sensitivity of the constituency, wherever required. They monitors all activities relating to force deployment, law and order situation and coordinate between the civil and police administration to ensure free and fair election. 4. Awareness observers. For the first time in the 16th Lok Sabha elections, 2014, the Commission deployed central awareness observers to oversee the efficient and effective management of the electoral process at the field level, mainly in respect of voter awareness and facilitation. Awareness observers are deployed to observe the interventions undertaken by the election machinery to bridge the gap in people's participation in the electoral process, particularly in regard to voters' turnout. They also monitors the various media-related aspects of RP Act 1951 and observe the mechanism directed by the Commission at district levels on checking the problem of paid news. 5. Micro-observers. In addition to general observers, the Commission also deploys micro-observers to observe the poll proceedings on the poll day in selected critical polling stations. They are chosen from central government/central PSU's officials. Micro-observers verify the BMF at the polling stations and certify the same before start of polling. They observe the proceedings at the polling stations on the poll day right from the mock poll to the completion of poll and the process of sealing of EVMs and other documents to ensure that all instructions of the Commission are complied with by the polling parties and the polling agents. They also report to the general observers directly about vitiation of the poll proceedings, if any, in their allotted polling stations. 6. Assistant expenditure observers. In addition to expenditure observers, assistant expenditure observers are appointed for each assembly segment to ensure that all major election campaign events are videographed and complaints of electoral malpractices are promptly attended. Election process. 7. Time of elections. Elections for the Lok Sabha and every state legislative assembly have to take place every 5 years, unless called earlier. The President can dissolve Lok Sabha and call a general election before 5 years is up, if the government can no longer command the confidence of the Lok Sabha, and if there is no alternative government available to take over. Schedule of elections. When the 5-year limit is up, or the legislature has been dissolved and new elections have been called, the Election Commission puts into effect the machinery for holding an election. The Constitution states that there can be no longer than 6 months between the last session of the dissolved Lok Sabha and the recalling of the new House, so elections have to be concluded before then. The Commission normally announces the schedule of elections in a major press conference a few weeks before the formal process is set in motion. The Model Code of Conduct for guidance of candidates and political parties comes immediately into effect after such announcement. The formal process for the election starts with the notification or notifications calling upon the electorate to elect members of a House. As soon as notifications are issued, candidates can start filing their nominations in the constituencies from where they wish to contest. These are scrutinized by the returning officer of the constituency concerned after the last date for the same is over after about a week. The validly nominated candidates can withdraw from the contest within 2 days from the date of scrutiny. Contesting candidates get at least 2 weeks for political campaign before the actual date of poll. On account of the vast magnitude of operations and the massive size of the electorate, polling is held on a number of days for the national elections. A separate date for counting is fixed and the results declared for each constituency by the concerned returning officer. The Commission compiles the complete list of members elected and issues an appropriate notification for the due constitution of the House. With this, the process of elections is complete and the President, in case of the Lok Sabha, and the governors of the concerned states, in case of state assemblies, can then convene their respective houses to hold their sessions. Oath or affirmation. It is necessary for a candidate to make and subscribe an oath or affirmation before an officer authorized by the Election Commission. For any particular election, the authorized persons are, principally, the returning officer and the assistant returning officer for the constituency. In the case of a candidate confined in a prison or under preventive detention, the superintendent of the prison or commandant of the detention camp in which he is so confined or is under such detention is authorized to administer the oath. And in the case of a candidate confined to bed in a hospital or elsewhere owing to illness or any other cause, the medical superintendent in charge of the hospital or the medical practitioner attending on him is similarly authorized. If a candidate is outside India, the Indian ambassador or high commissioner or diplomatic consular authorized by him can also administer oath/affirmation. The candidate, in person, is required to make the oath or affirmation immediately after presenting his nomination papers and in any case not later than the day previous to the date of the scrutiny. 8. Election campaign. The campaign is the period when the political parties put forward their candidates and arguments with which they hope to persuade people to vote for their candidates and parties. Candidates are given a week to put forward their nominations. These are scrutinized by the returning officers and if not found to be in order can be rejected after a summary hearing. Validly nominated candidates can withdraw within 2 days after nominations have been scrutinized. The official campaign lasts at least 2 weeks from the drawing up of the list of nominated candidates, and officially ends 48 hours before polling closes. During the election campaign, the political parties and contesting candidates are expected to abide by a model code of conduct evolved by the Election Commission on the basis of a consensus among political parties. The model code lays down broad guidelines as to how the political parties and candidates should conduct themselves during the election campaign. It is intended to maintain the election campaign on healthy lines, avoid clashes and conflicts between political parties or their supporters and to ensure peace and order during the campaign period and thereafter, until the results are declared. The model code also prescribes guidelines for the ruling party either at the center or in the state to ensure that a level field is maintained and that no cause is given for any complaint that the ruling party has used its official position for the purposes of its election campaign. 9. Once an election has been called, parties issue manifestos detailing the programs they wish to implement if elected to government, the strengths of their leaders, and the failures of opposing parties and their leaders. Slogans are used to popularize and identify parties and issues, and pamphlets and posters distributed to the electorate. Rallies and meetings where the candidates try to persuade, cajole, and enthuse supporters, and denigrate opponents, are held throughout the constituencies. Personal appeals and promises of reform are made, with candidates traveling the length and breadth of the constituency to try to influence as many potential supporters as possible. Polling days. Polling is normally held on a number of different days in different constituencies, to enable the security forces and those monitoring the election to keep law and order and ensure that voting during the election is fair. Ballot papers and symbols. After nomination of candidates is complete, a list of competing candidates is prepared by the returning officer, and ballot papers are printed. Ballot papers are printed with the names of the candidates, in languages set by the Election Commission, and the symbols allotted to each of the candidates. Candidates of recognized parties are allotted their party symbols. Voting procedure. Voting is by secret ballot. Polling stations are usually set up in public institutions, such as schools and community halls. To enable as many electors as possible to vote, the officials of the Election Commission try to ensure that there is a polling station within 2 kilometers of every voter, and that no polling stations should have to deal with more than 1,500 voters. Each polling station is open for at least 8 hours on the day of the election. On entering the polling station, the elector is checked against the electoral roll 10, and allocated a ballot paper. The elector votes by marking the ballot paper with a rubber stamp on or near the symbol of the candidate of his choice, inside a screened compartment in the polling station. The voter then folds the ballot paper and inserts it in a common ballot box which is kept in full view of the presiding officer and polling agents of the candidates. This marking system eliminates the possibility of ballot papers being surreptitiously taken out of the polling station or not being put in the ballot box. Since 1998, the Commission has increasingly used electronic voting machines, EMVs, instead of ballot boxes. In 2003, all state elections and by-elections were held using EVMs. Encouraged by this, the Commission took a historic decision to use only EVMs for the Lok Sabha election in 2004. More than 1 million EVMs were used in this election. Electronic voting machine. An electronic voting machine, EVM, is a simple electronic device used to record votes in place of ballot papers and boxes which were used earlier in conventional voting system. The advantages of the EVM over the traditional ballot paper/ballot box system are given here. It eliminates the possibility of invalid and doubtful votes which, in many cases, are the root causes of controversies and election petitions. 2. It makes the process of counting of votes much faster than the conventional system. 3. It reduces to a great extent the quantity of paper used, thus saving a large number of trees, making the process eco-friendly. 4. It reduces cost of printing, almost nil, as only one sheet of ballot paper is required for each polling station. 11. Supervising elections. The Election Commission appoints a large number of observers to ensure that the campaign is conducted fairly, and that people are free to vote as they choose. Election expenditure observers keeps a check on the amount that each candidate and party spends on the election. Counting of votes. After the polling has finished, the votes are counted under the supervision of returning officers and observers appointed by the Election Commission. After the counting of votes is over, the returning officer declares the name of the candidate, to whom the largest number of votes have been given, as the winner and as having been returned by the constituency to the concerned house. Elections to the Lok Sabha are carried out using a first-past-the-post electoral system. The country is split up into separate geographical areas, known as constituencies, and the electors can cast one vote each for a candidate, the winner being the candidate who gets the maximum votes. Elections to the state assemblies are carried out in the same manner as for the Lok Sabha election, with the states and union territories divided into single-member constituencies, and the first-past-the-post electoral system used. Media coverage. In order to bring as much transparency as possible to the electoral process, the media are encouraged and provided with facilities to cover the election, although subject to maintaining the secrecy of the vote. Media persons are given special passes to enter polling stations to cover the poll process and the counting halls during the actual counting of votes. Election petitions. Any elector or candidate can file an election petition if he or she thinks there has been malpractice during the election. An election petition is not an ordinary civil suit, but treated as a contest in which the whole constituency is involved. Election petitions are tried by the High Court of the state involved, and if upheld can even lead to the restaging of the election in that constituency. Table 71.1 Results of Lok Sabha elections. General elections, year. Elective seats. Seats won by parties, major. First, 1952. 489. Congress 364, Communist 16, Socialist 12, KMPP 9, Janison 3. Second, 1957. 494. Congress 371, Communist 27, Praja Socialist 19, Janison 4. Third, 1962. 494. Congress 361, Communist 29, Svatantra 18, Janison 14, Praja Socialist 12, Socialist 6. Fourth, 1967. 520. Congress 283, Svatantra 44, Janison 35, CPI 23, CPM 19, Sanyukta Socialist 23, Praja Socialist 13. Fifth, 1971. 518. Congress 352, CPM 25, CPI 24, DMK 23, Janison 21, Svatantra 7, Socialist 5. Sixth, 1977. 542. Janata 298, Congress 154, CPM 22, CPI 7, ANK 18. 7th, 1980. 542. Congress 353, Janata, Secular, 41, Janata 31, CPM 36, CPI 11, DMK 16. 8, 1984. 542. Congress 415, TDP 28, CPM 22, CPI 6, Janata 10, ANK 12, BJP 2. 9th, 1989. 543. Congress 197, Janata Dal 141, BJP 86, CPM 32, CPI 12, ANK 11, TDP 2. 10th, 1991. 543. Congress 232, BJP 119, Janata Dal 59, CPM 35, CPI 13, TDP 13, ANK 11. 11th, 1996. 543. BJP 161, Congress 140, Janata Dal 46, CPM 32, TMCM 20, DMK 17, SP 17, TDP 16, SS 15, CPI 12, BSP 11. 12th, 1998. 543. BJP 182, Congress 141, CPM 32, ANK 18, TDP 12, SP 20, Samita 12, RJD 17. 13th, 1999. 543. BJP 182, Congress 114, CPM 33, TDP 29, SP 26, JD, U, 20, SS 15, BSP 14, DMK 12, BJD 10, ANK 10. 14th, 2004. 543. Congress 145, BJP 138, CPM 43, SP 36, RJD 24, BSP 19, DMK 16, Shiv Sena 12, BJD 11, CPI 10. 15th, 2009. 543. Congress 206, BJP 116, SP 23, BSP 21, JD, U, 20, Trinamool 19, DMK 18, CPM 16, BJD 14, Shiv Sena 11, NCP 9, ANK 9, TDP 6, RLD 5, CPI 4, RJD 4, SAD 4. 16th, 2014. 543. BJP 282, Congress 44, ANK 37, Trinamool 34, BJD 20, Shiv Sena 18, TDP 16, TRS 11, CPM 9, YSR Congress 9, NCP 6, LJP 6, SP 5, AAP 4, RJD 4, SAD 4. 17th, 2019. 543. BJP 303, Congress 52, DMK 23, Trinamool 22, YSR Congress 22, Shiv Sena 18, JD, U, 16, BJD 12, BSP 10, TRS 9, LJP 6, NCP 5, SP 5. Table 71.2 Prime Ministers after each Lok Sabha general election. General elections, year. National parties. Prime Minister. First, 1952 *. BJS, BPI, CPI, FBL, MG, FBL, RG, HMS, Inc., KLP, KMPP, RCPI, RRP, RSP, SCF, SP. Jawaharlal Nehru, August 15, 1947 to 27, May, 1964. Second, 1957. BJS, CPI, Inc., PSP. Do. Third, 1962. CPI, Inc., BJS, PSP, SSP, SWA. Do. Gulzari Lal Nanda, May 27, 1964 to June 9, 1964. Lal Bahadur Shastri, June 9, 1964 to January 11, 1966. Gulzari Lal Nanda, January 11, 1966 to January 24, 1966. Fourth, 1967. BJS, CPI, CPM, Inc., PSP, SSP, SWA. Mrs. Indira Gandhi, January 24, 1966 to March 24, 1977. Fifth, 1971. BJS, CPI, CPM, Inc., NCO, PSP, SSP, SWA. Do. 6th, 1977. BLD, CPI, CPM, Inc., NCO. Morarji Desai, March 24, 1977 to July 28, 1979. Charan Singh, July 28, 1979 to January 14, 1980. 7th, 1980. CPI, CPM, Inc., I, Inc., U, JNP, JNP, S. Mrs. Indira Gandhi, January 14, 1980 to October 31, 1984. 8th, 1984. BJP, CPI, CPM, ICS, Inc., JNP, LKD. Rajiv Gandhi, October 31, 1984 to December 2, 1989. 9th, 1989. BJP, CPI, CPM, ICS, SCS, Inc., JD, JNP, JP, LKD, B. Vishwanath Pratap Singh, December 2, 1989 to November 10, 1990. Chandrasekhar, November 10, 1990 to June 21, 1991. 10th, 1991. BJP, CPI, CPM, ICS, SCS, Inc., JD, JD, S, JP, LKD. PV Narasimha Rao, June 21, 1991 to May 16, 1996. 11th, 1996. AIIC, T, BJP, CPI, CPM, Inc., JD, JP, SAP. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, May 16, 1996 to June 1, 1996. H.D. Devgupta, June 1, 1996 to April 21, 1997. Inder Kumar Gujral, April 21, 1997 to March 19, 1998. 12th, 1998. BJP, BSP, CPI, CPM, Inc., JD, SAP. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, March 19, 1998 to May 22, 2004. 13th, 1999. BJP, BSP, CPI, CPM, Inc., JD, S, JD, U. Do. 14th, 2004. BJP, BSP, CPI, CPM, Inc., NCP. Dr. Manmohan Singh, May 22, 2004 to May 22, 2009. 15th, 2009. BJP, BSP, CPI, CPM, Inc., NCP, RJD. Dr. Manmohan Singh, May 22, 2009 to May 26, 2014. 16th, 2014. BJP, BSP, CPI, CPM, Inc., NCP. Narendra Modi, May 26, 2014 to May 30, 2019. 17th, 2019. BSP, BJP, CPI, CPM, Inc., NCP, AITC. Narendra Modi, May 30, 2019 to till date. Asterisk there were 14 recognized parties on all India basis during 1952 elections. After the first general election, 4 parties were recognized as national parties: Indian National Congress, Praja Socialist Party, Communist Party of India and All India Bharatiya Janasangh, in 1953. Source: Electoral Statistics, Pocket Book, 2015, Election Commission of India, pages 118 to 120. Table 71.3 Participation in Lok Sabha elections. General elections, year. Number of candidates. Electorate, million. Voter turnout, percentage. Number of polling stations. First, 1952. 1,874. 173.21. 45.7. 1,96,084. Second, 1957. 1,519. 193.65. 45.74. 2,20,478. Third, 1962. 1,985. 217.68. 55.42. 238,244. Fourth, 1967. 2,369. 274.60. 61.33. 2,67,255. 5th, 1971. 2,784. 274.09. 55.29. 3,42,944. 6th, 1977. 2,439. 321.17. 60.49. 3,58,208. 7th, 1980. 4,462. 363.94. 56.92. 434,442. 8th, 1984. 5,493. 400.10. 64.1. 5,05,751. 9th, 1989. 6,160. 499.00. 62.0. 5,89,449. 10th, 1991. 8,699. 514.00. 61.0. 5,94,797. 11th, 1996. 13,952. 592.57. 57.94. 7,66,462. 12th, 1998. 4,750. 605.58. 61.97. 7,73,494. 13th, 1999. 4,648. 605.88. 59.99. 7,75,000. 14th, 2004. 5,435. 671.00. 57.86. 6,87,402. 15th, 2009. 8,070. 713.77. 58.4. 834,944. 16th, 2014. 8,251. 834.08. 66.44. 9,27,553. 17th, 2019. 8,026. 910.51. 67.4. 1036,295. Table 71.4 Women in Lok Sabha Elections. General Elections, Year. Contested. Elected. 1st, 1952. 22. 2nd, 1957. 45. 27. 3rd, 1962. 70. 34. 4th, 1967. 67. 31. 5th, 1971. 86. 22. 6th, 1977. 70. 19. 7th, 1980. 142. 28. 8th, 1984. 164. 44. 9th, 1989. 198. 27. 10th, 1991. 325. 39. 11th, 1996. 599. 40. 12th, 1998. 274. 43. 13th, 1999. 284. 49. 14th, 2004. 355. 45. 15th, 2009. 556. 59. 16th, 2014. 668. 62. 17th, 2019. 724. 78. Table 71.5 Cost of Lok Sabha Elections. General Elections, Year. Cost borne by Election Commission, Indian Rupee in crores. First, 1952. 10.45. Second, 1957. 5.90. Third, 1962. 7.81. Fourth, 1967. 10.95. Fifth, 1971. 14.43. Sixth, 1977. 29.81. Seventh, 1980. 37.07. Eighth, 1984. 85.51. Ninth, 1989. 154.22. 10th, 1991. 359.10. 11th, 1996. 597.34. 12th, 1998. 626.40. 13th, 1999. 900.00. 14th, 2004. 1100.00. 15th, 2009. 1483.00. 16th, 2014. 3426.00. 17th, 2019. NA. Table 71.6 Largest and smallest, area-wise, Lok Sabha constituencies in 14th General Elections, 2004. SL No. Constituency. State/UT. Area, square km. I. Largest constituencies. 1. Ladakh. Jammu and Kashmir. 173,266.37. 2. Barmer. Rajasthan. 71,601.24. 3. Kutch. Gujarat. 41,644.55. 4. Arunachal West. Arunachal Pradesh. 40,572.29. 5. Arunachal East. Arunachal Pradesh. 39,749.64. 2 smallest constituencies. 1. Chandni Chowk. NCT of Delhi. 10.59. 2. Kolkata Northwest. West Bengal. 13.23. 3. Mumbai South. Maharashtra. 13.73. 4. Mumbai South Central. Maharashtra. 18.31. 5. Delhi Sadar. NCT of Delhi. 28.09. Table 71.7 Largest and smallest, electors-wise, Lok Sabha constituencies in 16th General Elections, 2014. SL No. Constituency. State/UT. Total No of electors. I. Largest constituencies. 1. Malkajgiri. Telangana. 29,53,915. 2. Ghaziabad. Uttar Pradesh. 22,63,961. 3. Bangalore North. Karnataka. 22,29,063. 4. Unnao, Uttar Pradesh, 21,10,388. 5. Northwest Delhi, NCT of Delhi, 20,93,922. 2 smallest constituencies. 1. Lakshadweep, 47,972. 2. Daman and Diu, 1,02,260. 3. Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, 1,59,949. 4. Dadra and Nagar Haveli, 1,88,783. 5. Andaman and Nicobar Islands, 2,57,856. Table 71.8 Articles related to elections at a glance. Article No. Subject Matter 324. Superintendence, direction, and control of elections to be vested in an election commission. 325. No person to be ineligible for inclusion in, or to claim to be included in a special, electoral roll on grounds of religion, race, caste, or sex. 326. Elections to the House of the People and to the legislative assemblies of states to be on the basis of adult suffrage. 327. Power of Parliament to make provision with respect to elections to legislatures. 328. Power of legislature of a state to make provision with respect to elections to such legislature. 329. Bar to interference by courts in electoral matters. 329a. Special provision as to elections to Parliament in the case of Prime Minister and Speaker, repealed. Notes and references. 1. There is a separate state election commission to deal with elections to the panchayats and municipalities in the state. 2. For complete details regarding election commission, see Chapter 42. 3. The 61st Amendment Act of 1988 has reduced the voting age from 21 to 18 years. This came into force on March 28, 1989. 4. For more details in this regard, see Universal Adult Franchise in Chapter 3. 5. L. Chandrakumar v. Union of India, 1997. Clause 3, d, of Article 323b was declared as unconstitutional. 6. Handbook for Media, General Elections to the 16th Lok Sabha, 2014, Election Commission of India, pages 111 to 113. 7. This information is downloaded from the website of the Election Commission of India. 8. General Elections 2009, Reference Handbook, Press Information Bureau, Government of India, p. 189. 9. The Model Code of Conduct was agreed to by all the political parties in 1968. The Election Commission first effectively put to use the Model Code of Conduct in the year 1991 to ensure fair elections and a level playing field. 10. The electoral roll is a list of all people in the constituency who are registered to vote in Indian elections. Only those people with their names on the electoral roll are allowed to vote. The electoral roll is normally revised every year to add the names of those who are to turn 18 on the January 1st of that year or have moved into a constituency and to remove the names of those who have died or moved out of a constituency. 11. General Elections 2009, Reference Handbook, Press Information Bureau, Government of India, p. 181. 72. Election Laws. Representation of the People Act, 1950. Articles 81 and 170 of the Constitution of India lay down the maximum number of seats in Parliament and in legislative assemblies of states and also certain principles to be followed in allocating seats in the House of People among the states and in the state legislative assemblies, but have left the actual allocation of such seats to be provided by the law. Similarly, Article 171 of the Constitution of India lays down the maximum and minimum number of seats in the Legislative Council of a state, and also specify the various methods in which the seats shall be filled, but the actual number of seats to be filled by each such method has been left to be provided by law. Therefore, the Representation of the People Act, 1950, was enacted to provide for the allocation of seats in the House of the People and in the legislative assemblies and legislative councils of states. The Act also sought to confer on the President the powers to delimit, after consultation with the Election Commission, the various constituencies for the purpose of elections to fill seats in the House of the People and in the legislative assemblies and legislative councils of states. The Act further provided for the registration of electors for parliamentary constituencies and for the assembly and council constituencies, and the qualifications and disqualifications for such registration. To sum up, the Act makes the following provisions relating to the elections. 1. Allocation of seats in the House of the People, the state legislative assemblies and the state legislative councils. 2. Delimitation of parliamentary, assembly and council constituencies. 3. Election officers like chief electoral officers, district election officers, electoral registration officers and so on. 4. Electoral rolls for parliamentary, assembly and council constituencies. 5. Manner of filling seats in the Council of States to be filled by representatives of Union territories. 6. Local authorities for purposes of elections to the state legislative councils. 7. Barring the jurisdiction of civil courts. Representation of the People Act, 1951. The Representation of the People Act, 1950 did not contain all the provisions relating to elections but merely provided for the allocation of seats in and the delimitation of constituencies for the purpose of elections to the House of People and legislatures of states, the qualifications of voter at such election and the preparations of electoral rolls. The provisions for the actual conduct of elections to the Houses of Parliament and to the House or Houses of the legislature of each state, the qualifications and disqualifications for the membership of these houses, the corrupt practices and other election offenses, and the decision of election disputes were all left to be made in a subsequent measure. In order to provide for these provisions, the Representation of the People Act, 1951 was enacted. Broadly speaking, this Act contains provisions relating to the following electoral matters. 1. Qualifications and disqualifications for membership of Parliament and state legislatures. 2. Notification of general elections. 3. Administrative machinery for the conduct of elections. 4. Registration of political parties. 5. Conduct of elections. 6. Free supply of certain material to candidates of recognized political parties. 7. Disputes regarding elections. 8. Corrupt practices and electoral offenses. 9. Powers of Election Commission in connection with inquiries as to disqualifications of members. 10. By-elections and time limit for filling vacancies. 11. Miscellaneous provisions relating to elections. 12. Barring the jurisdiction of civil courts. The conduct of elections include the following matters. A. Nomination of candidates. B. Candidates and their agents. C. General procedure at elections. D. The poll. E. Counting of votes. F. Multiple elections. G. Publication of election results and nominations. H. Declaration of assets and liabilities. I. Election expenses. The provisions of the Act with respect to disputes regarding elections are related to the following matters. I. Presentation of election petitions to High Court. 2. Trial of election petitions. 3. Withdrawal and abatement of election petitions. 4. Appeals to Supreme Court. V. Costs and security for costs. Delimitation Act, 2002. Articles 82 and 170 of the Constitution of India provide for readjustment and the division of each state into territorial constituencies, parliamentary constituencies and assembly constituencies, on the basis of the 2001 census by such authority and in such manner as Parliament may, by law, determine. Further, Articles 330 and 332 of the Constitution of India provide for refixing the number of seats reserved for the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes in the House of the People and legislative assemblies of the states on the basis of the 2001 census. The present delimitation of parliamentary and assembly constituencies is based on the 1971 census. The uneven growth of population in different constituencies in different parts of the country as well as within the same state, as also continuous migration of people/electorate from one place to other, especially from rural areas to urban areas, have resulted in strikingly differing sizes of electoral constituencies even within the same state. Therefore, the Delimitation Act, 20,021, was enacted to set up a delimitation commission for the purpose of effecting delimitation on the basis of the 2001 census so as to correct the aforesaid distortion in the sizes of electoral constituencies. The proposed delimitation commission would also refix the number of seats for the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes on the basis of the 2001 census, without affecting total number of seats based on the 1971 census. The Act sought to lay down certain guidelines as to the manner in which such delimitation would be undertaken. In the Act, the new Delimitation Commission was given the task of carrying out delimitation of parliamentary and assembly constituencies. It had been specifically provided that the Delimitation Commission shall endeavor to complete the work within a period not later than July 31, 2008.2. The proposed delimitation would apply to every general election to the House of the People or to a state legislative assembly held after the final orders of the Commission are published, and to every by-election arising from such general election. 3. Other acts relating to elections. 1. Parliament, Prevention of Disqualification, Act, 19,594 declares that certain offices of profit under the government shall not disqualify the holders thereof for being chosen as, or for being, members of Parliament. 2. Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Orders, Amendment, Act, 1976 provides for the inclusion in, and the exclusion from, the lists of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, of certain castes and tribes, for the readjustment of representation of parliamentary and assembly constituencies. 3. Government of Union Territories Act, 1963. 4. Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Act, 1991. 5. Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Act, 19,525 regulates certain matters relating to or connected with elections to the offices of the President and Vice President of India. Rules relating to elections. 1. Registration of Electors Rules, 19,606 provide for the preparation and publication of electoral rolls. 2. Conduct of Elections Rules, 19,617 facilitates conduct of fair and free elections to the Parliament and state legislatures. 3. Prohibition of Simultaneous Membership Rules, 1950. 4. Members of Lok Sabha, Disqualification on Ground of Defection, Rules, 1985. 5. Members of Rajya Sabha, Disqualification on Ground of Defection, Rules, 1985. 6. Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Rules, 1974.8. 7. Members of Lok Sabha, Declaration of Assets and Liabilities, Rules, 2004. 8. Members of Rajya Sabha, Declaration of Assets and Liabilities, Rules, 2004. Orders relating to elections. 1. Election Symbols, Reservation and Allotment, Order, 1968 provides for the specification, reservation, choice, and allotment of symbols at elections in parliamentary and assembly constituencies, for the recognition of political parties in relation thereto. 2. Registration of political parties, furnishing of additional particulars, Order, 1992 provides for furnishing of additional particulars by associations or bodies of individual citizens of India seeking registration as a political party with the Election Commission of India. Notes and references. 1. The Delimitation Act, 2002, was amended in 2003, 2008 and 2016. 2. Originally, the Act provided for a period of 2 years. 3. Earlier, The Delimitation Acts were enacted in 1952, 1962, and 1972. 4. This act repealed the 3 earlier acts, namely, the Parliament, Prevention of Disqualification, Act, 1950, the Parliament, Prevention of Disqualification Act, 1951, and the Prevention of Disqualification, Parliament and Part C States Legislatures, Act, 1953. 5. This act was amended in 1974, 1977, and 1997. 6. Earlier, the rules in this regard were made in 1950 and 1956. Both the earlier rules were known by the same nomenclature, i.e., the representation of the people, preparation of electoral rolls, rules. 7. Earlier, the rules in this regard were made in 1951 and 1956. Both the earlier rules were known by the same nomenclature, i.e., the representation of the people, conduct of elections and election petitions, rules. 8. These rules repealed the earlier presidential and vice presidential elections rules, 1952. 73. Electoral reforms. Committees related to electoral reforms. The various committees and commissions which have examined our electoral system, election machinery as well as election process and suggested reforms are mentioned here. 1. Joint Parliamentary Committee on Amendments to Election Laws, 1971-72. 2. Tarkunde Committee was appointed in 1974 by Jayaprakash Narayan, JP, during his Total Revolution movement. This unofficial committee submitted its report in 1975. 3. Dinesh Goswami Committee on Electoral Reforms, 1990, 1. 4. Vora Committee on the Nexus Between Crime and Politics, 1993. 5. Election Commission of India Recommendations on Electoral Reforms, 1998. 6. Indrajit Gupta Committee on State Funding of Elections, 1998, 2. 7. Law Commission of India 170th Report on Reform of the Electoral Laws, 1999. 8. National Commission to Review the Working of the Constitution, 2000-2002, 3. It was headed by M.N. Venkachalaya. 9. Election Commission of India Report on Proposed Electoral Reforms, 2004. 10. Second Administrative Reforms Commission of India Report on Ethics in Governance, 2007. It was headed by Veerappa Moily. 11. Tanka Committee, Core Committee, was appointed in 2010 to look into the whole gamut of the election laws and electoral reforms. 12. J.S. Varma Committee Report on Amendments to Criminal Law, 2013. 13. Law Commission of India 244th Report on Electoral Disqualifications, 2014. 14. Law Commission of India 255th Report on Electoral Reforms, 2015. Based on the recommendations made by the above committees and commissions, various reforms have been introduced in our electoral system, election machinery, and election process. These can be studied under the following 4 heads. Electoral reforms before 1996. Electoral reforms of 1996. Electoral reforms after 1996. Electoral reforms since 2010. Electoral reforms before 1996. Lowering of voting age. The 61st Constitutional Amendment Act of 19,884 reduced the voting age from 21 years to 18 years for the Lok Sabha as well as the Assembly elections. This was done in order to provide to the unrepresented youth of the country an opportunity to express their feelings and help them become a part of political process. Deputation to Election Commission. In 19,885, a provision was made that the officers and the staff engaged in preparation, revision, and correction of electoral rolls for elections are deemed to be on deputation to the Election Commission for the period of such employment. These personnel, during that period, would be under the control, superintendence, and discipline of the Election Commission. Increase in number of proposers. In 19,886, the number of electors who are required to sign as proposers in nomination papers for elections to the Rajya Sabha and State Legislative Council has been increased to 10% of the electors of the constituency or 10 such electors, whichever is less. This was done in order to prevent non-serious candidates from contesting frivolously. Electronic voting machines. In 19,897, a provision was made to facilitate the use of electronic voting machines, EVMs, in elections. The EVMs were used for the first time in 1998 on experimental basis in selected constituencies in the elections to the assemblies of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Delhi. The EVMs were used for the first time in the general elections, entire state, to the Assembly of Goa in 1999. Booth capturing. In 19,898, a provision was made for adjournment of poll or countermanding of elections in case of booth capturing. Booth capturing includes, I. Seizure of a polling station and making polling authorities surrender ballot papers or voting machines, 2. Taking possession of polling station and allowing only one's own supporters to exercise their franchise, 3. Threatening and preventing any elector from going to polling station and, 4. Seizure of the place being used for counting of votes. Electors' photo identity card, EPIC. The use of electors' photo identity cards by the Election Commission is surely making the electoral process simple, smoother, and quicker. A decision was taken by the Election Commission in 1993 to issue photo identity cards to electors throughout the country to check bogus voting and impersonation of electors at elections. The electoral roll is the basis for issue of EPICs to the registered electors. The electoral rolls are normally revised every year with January 1st of the year as the qualifying date. Every Indian citizen who attained the age of 18 years or above as on that date is eligible for inclusion in the electoral roll and can apply for the same. Once he is registered in the roll, he would be eligible for getting an EPIC. The scheme of issuing the EPICs is, therefore, a continuous and ongoing process for the completion of which no time limit can be fixed, as the registration of electors is a continuous and ongoing process, excepting for a brief period between the last date for filing nomination and completion of electoral process, on account of more number of persons becoming eligible for the right of franchise on attaining the age of 18. It is the continuous effort of the Election Commission to provide the EPICs to the electors who have been left out in the previous campaigns as well as the new electors. 8a. Electoral reforms of 1996. In 1990, the National Front government headed by VP Singh appointed a committee on electoral reforms under the chairmanship of Dinesh Goswami, the then law minister. The committee was asked to study the electoral system in detail and suggest measures for remedying the drawbacks within it. The committee, in its report submitted in 1990 itself, made a number of proposals on electoral reforms. Some of these recommendations were implemented in Indiana 19969. These are explained here. Listing of names of candidates. The candidates contesting elections are to be classified into 3 categories for the purpose of listing of their names. They are: I. Candidates of recognized political parties. 2. Candidates of registered unrecognized political parties. 3. Other, independent, candidates. Their names in the list of contesting candidates and in the ballot papers has to appear separately in the above order, and in each category these have to be arranged in the alphabetical order. Disqualification for insulting the National Honor Act. A person who is convicted for the following offenses under the Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act of 1971 is disqualified to contest in the elections to the Parliament and State Legislature for 6 years. I. Offense of insulting the national flag. 2. Offense of insulting the Constitution of India. 3. Offense of preventing the singing of national anthem. Prohibition on the sale of liquor. No liquor or other intoxicants are to be sold or given or distributed at any shop, eating place, hotel, or any other place whether public or private within a polling area during the period of 48 hours ending with the hour fixed for the conclusion of poll. Any person who violates this rule is to be punished with imprisonment up to 6 months or with fine up to 2,000 Indian rupees or with both. Number of proposers. The nomination of a candidate in a parliamentary or assembly constituency should be subscribed by 10 registered electors of the constituency as proposers, if the candidate is not sponsored by a recognized political party. In the case of a candidate sponsored by a recognized political party, only one proposer is required. This was done in order to discourage non-serious people from contesting the elections. Death of a candidate. Earlier, in case of death of a contesting candidate before the actual polling, the election used to be countermanded. Consequently, the election process had to start all over again in the concerned constituency. But now, the election would not be countermanded on the death of a contesting candidate before the actual polling. However, if the deceased candidate belonged to a recognized political party, the party concerned would be given an option to propose another candidate within 7 days. Time limit for by-elections. Now, by-elections are to be held within 6 months of occurrence of the vacancy in any House of Parliament or a state legislature. But, this condition is not applicable in 2 cases. I. Where the remainder of the term of the member whose vacancy is to be filled is less than 1 year, or 2. When the Election Commission in consultation with the central government, certifies that it is difficult to hold the by-elections within the said period. Holiday to employees on the polling day. The registered voters employed in any trade, business, industry, or any other establishment are entitled to a paid holiday on the polling day. This rule applies even to the daily wagers. Any employer who violates this rule is to be punished with a fine up to 500 Indian rupees. However, this rule is not applicable in the case of a voter whose absence may cause danger or substantial loss in respect of the employment in which he is engaged. Contestants restricted to 2 constituencies. A candidate would not be eligible to contest from more than 2 parliamentary or assembly constituencies at a general election or at the by-elections which are held simultaneously. Similar restrictions are imposed for biennial elections and by-elections to the Rajya Sabha and the state legislative councils. Prohibition of arms. Entering into the neighborhood of a polling station with any kind of arms 10 is to be considered a cognizable offense. Such an act is punishable with imprisonment of up to 2 years or with fine or with both. Further, the arms found in possession of the offender are to be confiscated and the related license is to be cancelled. But, these provisions are not applicable to the returning officer, presiding officer, any police officer or any other person appointed to maintain peace and order at the polling station. Effective campaigning period reduced. The minimum gap between the last date for withdrawal of candidature and the polling date has been reduced from 20 to 14 days. Electoral reforms after 1996. Presidential and vice presidential elections. In 199,711, the number of electors as proposers and seconders for contesting election to the office of the president was increased from 10 to 50 and to the office of the vice president from 5 to 20. Further, the amount of security deposit was increased from 2,500 Indian rupees to 15,000 Indian rupees for contesting election to both the offices of president and vice president to discourage frivolous candidates. Requisitioning of staff for election duty. In 199,812, a provision was made whereby the employees of local authorities, nationalist banks, universities, lic, government undertakings, and other government-aided institutions can be requisitioned for deployment on election duty. Voting through postal ballot. In 199,913, a provision was made for voting by certain classes of persons through postal ballot. Thus, any class of persons can be notified by the Election Commission, in consultation with the government, and the persons belonging to such notified class can give their votes by postal ballot, and not in any other manner, at elections in their constituency or constituencies. Facility to opt to vote through proxy. In 200,314, the facility to opt to vote through proxy was provided to the service voters belonging to the armed forces and members belonging to a force to which provisions of the Army Act apply. Such service voters who opt to vote through proxy have to appoint a proxy in a prescribed format and intimate the returning officer of the constituency. Declaration of criminal antecedents, assets, etc., by candidates. In 2003, the Election Commission issued an Order 15 directing every candidate seeking election to the Parliament or a state legislature to furnish on his nomination paper the information on the following matters. I. Whether the candidate has been convicted or acquitted or discharged in any criminal offense in the past. Whether he/she was imprisoned or fined. 2. Prior to 6 months of filing nomination, whether the candidate is accused in any pending case, of any offense punishable with imprisonment for 2 years or more, and in which charges were framed or cognizance was taken by a court, if so, the details thereof. 3. The assets, immovable, movable, bank balances, etc., of a candidate and his/her spouse and that of dependents. 4. Liabilities, if any, particularly whether there are any dues of any public financial institution or government dues. V. The educational qualifications of the candidate. Furnishing of any false information in the affidavit is now an electoral offense punishable with imprisonment up to 6 months or fine or both. Changes in Rajya Sabha elections. In 2003, the following 2 changes were introduced with respect to elections to the Rajya Sabha 16. I. Domicile or residency requirement of a candidate contesting an election to the Rajya Sabha was removed. Prior to this, a candidate had to be an elector in the state from where he was to be elected. Now, it would be sufficient if he is an elector in any parliamentary constituency in the country. 2. Introducing open ballot system, instead of secret ballot system, for elections to the Rajya Sabha. This was done to curb cross-voting and to wipe out the role of money power during Rajya Sabha elections. Under the new system, an elector belonging to a political party has to show the ballot paper after marking his vote to a nominated agent of that political party. Exemption of traveling expenditure. As per a provision of 200,317, the traveling expenditure incurred by the campaigning leaders of a political party shall be exempted from being included in the election expenses of the candidate. Free supply of electoral rolls, etc. According to a 2003 provision 18, the government should supply, free of cost, the copies of the electoral rolls and other prescribed material to the candidates of recognized political parties for the Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. Further, the Election Commission should supply specified items to the voters in the constituencies concerned or to the candidates set up by the recognized political parties. Parties entitled to accept contribution. In 200,319, the political parties were entitled to accept any amount of contribution from any person or company other than a government company. They have to report any contribution in excess of 20,000 Indian rupees to the Election Commission for making any claim to any income tax relief. Besides, the companies would get income tax exemption on the amount contributed. Allocation of time on electronic media. Under a 2003 provision 20, the Election Commission should allocate equitable sharing of time on the cable television network and other electronic media during elections to display or propagate any matter or to address public. This allocation would be decided on the basis of the past performance of a recognized political party. Introduction of Braille signage features in EVMs. The Commission received representations from the various associations of visually impaired persons for introduction of Braille signage features in the EVMs to facilitate the visually impaired voters to cast their votes without the help of attendant. The Commission considered the proposal in detail and tried the Braille signage feature in the EVMs during the by-election to the Asifnagar Assembly constituency of Andhra Pradesh held in 2004. In 2005, it was tried in one of the constituency during the assembly elections of Bihar, Jharkhand, and Haryana. In 2006, it was tried in one of the constituency of the states of Assam, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Kerala during assembly elections. In 2008, it was tried in all the assembly constituencies of NCT of Delhi during assembly elections. The Commission introduced similar Braille signage features on the electronic voting machines during the general elections to the 15th Lok Sabha, 2009, and simultaneous assembly elections in some states. 20a. Electoral reforms since 2010. Restrictions imposed on exit polls. According to a 2009 Provision 21, conducting exit polls and publishing results of exit polls would be prohibited during the election to Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. Thus, no person shall conduct any exit poll and publish or publicize by means of the print or electronic media or disseminate in any other manner the result of any exit poll during the period notified by the Election Commission in this regard. Further, any person who contravenes this provision shall be punishable with imprisonment of up to 2 years or with fine or with both. Exit poll is an opinion survey regarding how electors have voted at an election or how all the electors have performed with regard to the identification of a political party or candidate in an election. Time limit for submitting a case for disqualification. In 200,922, a provision was made for the simplification of the procedure for disqualification of a person found guilty of corrupt practices. It provided for a 3-month time limit within which the specified authority will have to submit the case of a person found guilty of corrupt practice to the President for determination of the question of disqualification. All officials included in corrupt practice. In 200,923, a provision was made for the inclusion of all officials, whether in the government service or not, appointed or deputed by the Election Commission in connection with the conduct of elections, within the scope of corrupt practice of obtaining any assistance by a candidate for the furtherance of the prospects of his election. Increase in security deposit. In 200,924, the amount of security deposit to be paid by the candidates contesting elections to the Lok Sabha was increased from 10,000 Indian rupees to 25,000 Indian rupees for the general candidates and from 5,000 Indian rupees to 12,500 Indian rupees for SC and ST candidates. Similarly, the security deposit in the case of elections to the State Legislative Assembly was increased from 5,000 Indian rupees to 10,000 Indian rupees for the general candidates and from 2,500 Indian rupees to 5,000 Indian rupees for the SC and ST candidates. This was done in order to check the multiplicity of non-serious candidates. Appellate authority within the district. In 200,925, a provision was made for appointment of an appellate authority within the district against the orders of the electoral registration officers, instead of the chief electoral officer of the state. Thus, an appeal against any order of the electoral registration officer of a constituency, during continuous updation of the electoral roll, will now lie before the district magistrate or additional district magistrate or executive magistrate or district collector or an officer of equivalent rank. A further appeal against any order of the district magistrate or additional district magistrate will now lie before the chief electoral officer of the state. Voting rights to citizens of India living abroad. In 201,026, a provision was made to confer voting rights to the citizens of India residing outside India due to various reasons. Accordingly, every citizen of India, a, whose name is not included in the electoral roll, b, who has not acquired the citizenship of any other country, c, who is absent from his place of ordinary residence in India owing to his employment, education, or otherwise outside India, whether temporarily or not, shall be entitled to have his name registered in the electoral roll in the parliamentary/assembly constituency in which his place of residence in India as mentioned in his passport is located. Online enrollment in the electoral roll. In 2013, a provision was made for online filing of applications for enrollment in the electoral roll. For this purpose, the central government, after consulting the Election Commission, made the rules known as the Registration of the Electors, Amendment, Rules, 2013.27. These rules made certain amendments in the Registration of Electors Rules, 1960. Introduction of Nota option. According to the directions of Supreme Court, the Election Commission made provision in the ballot papers/EVMs for none of the above, Nota, option so that the voters who come to the polling booth and decide not to vote for any of the candidates in the fray, are able to exercise their right not to vote for such candidates while maintaining the secrecy of their ballot. The provision for Nota has been made since general election to state legislative assemblies of Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram, NCT of Delhi and Rajasthan in 2013 and continued in the general election to state legislative assemblies of Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Odisha, and Sikkim in 2014 along with the general elections to the 16th Lok Sabha, 2014. Point 28. The voters polled against the Nota option are not taken into account for calculating the total valid voters polled by the contesting candidates for the purpose of return of security deposits to candidates. Even if the number of electors opting for Nota options is more than the number of votes polled by any of the candidates, the candidate who secures the largest number of votes has to be declared elected. Point 29. In 2001, the ECI had sent a proposal to the government to amend the law so as to provide for a neutral vote provision for the electors who did not wish to vote for any of the candidates. In 2004, PUCL, People's Union for Civil Liberties, filed a petition seeking a direction to provide the necessary provision in ballot papers and EVMs for protection of the right to not vote for any candidate, secretly. The Supreme Court in 2013 held that the ECI may provide for the none of the above, Nota, option on EVMs and ballot papers. Point 30. Introduction of BAT. The Voter Verifiable Paper Audit Trail is an independent system attached with the EVMs that allows the voters to verify that their votes are cast as intended. When a vote is cast, a slip is printed and remains exposed through a transparent window for 7 seconds, showing the serial number, name, and symbol of the candidate. Thereafter, the receipt automatically gets cut and falls into the sealed drop box of the BAT. The system allows a voter to challenge his/her vote on the basis of the paper receipt. As per rules, the presiding officer of the polling booth will have to record the dissent of the voter, which would have to be taken into account at the time of counting, if the challenge is found to be false. 31. The law for using VVPATs was amended in 2013. In 2013, the Supreme Court of India had permitted the ECI to introduce BAT in a phased manner, calling it an indispensable requirement of free and fair elections. The court had felt that introducing BAT would ensure the accuracy of the voting system and also help in manual counting of votes in case of dispute. VVPATs were first used in by-election to the Nuxan Assembly constituency of Nagaland held in 2013. Thereafter, VVPATs have been used in selected constituencies during every general election to state legislative assemblies. VVPATs were used in 8 selected parliamentary constituencies in the country in the 2014 Lok Sabha election. EVMs with BAT ensure the accuracy and transparency of the voting system. 32. Persons in jail or police custody can contest elections. In 2013-33 the Supreme Court upheld an order of the Patna High Court declaring that a person who has no right to vote by reason of being in jail or in police custody, is not an elector and is, therefore, not qualified to contest the elections to the Parliament or the state legislature. In order to negate this order of the Supreme Court, the following 2 new provisions 34 have been included in the Representation of the People Act, 1951. I. The first provision expressly provides that by reason of the prohibition to vote, either due to in jail or in police custody, a person whose name has been entered in the electoral roll shall not cease to be an elector. 2. The second provision expressly provides that a member of Parliament or the state legislature shall be disqualified only if he is so disqualified under the provisions contained in the Act and on no other ground. Consequently, the persons in jail or in police custody are allowed to contest the elections. Immediate disqualification of convicted MPs and MLAs. In 2013-35 the Supreme Court held that charge-sheeted members of Parliament and MLAs, on conviction for offences, will be immediately disqualified from holding membership of the House without being given 3 months' time for appeal, as was the case before. The concerned bench of the court struck down as unconstitutional Section 8(4) of the Representation of the People Act, 1951, that allows convicted lawmakers a 3-month period for filing appeal to the higher court and to get a stay of the conviction and sentence. The bench, however, made it clear that the ruling will be prospective and those who had already filed appeals in various high courts or the Supreme Court against their convictions would be exempt from it. The bench said, a reading of the two provisions in Articles 102 and 191 of the Constitution would make it abundantly clear that Parliament is to make one law for a person to be disqualified for being chosen as, and for being, a member of either House of Parliament or Legislative Assembly or Legislative Council of the state. Parliament thus does not have the power under Articles 102 and 191 of the Constitution to make different laws for a person to be disqualified for being chosen as a member and for a person to be disqualified for continuing as a member of Parliament or the state legislature. The bench said, Section 8(4) of the Act, which carves out a saving in the case of sitting members of Parliament or state legislature from the disqualifications under the Act, or which defers the date on which the disqualification will take effect in the case of a sitting member of Parliament or a state legislature, is beyond the powers conferred on Parliament by the Constitution. The bench held, looking at the affirmative terms of Articles 102 and 191 of the Constitution, we hold that Parliament has been vested with the powers to make law laying down the same disqualifications for person to be chosen as a member of Parliament or a state legislature and for a sitting member of a House of Parliament or a House of a state legislature. We also hold that the provisions of Article 101 and 190 of the Constitution expressly prohibit Parliament to defer the date from which the disqualification will come into effect in case of a sitting member of Parliament or a state legislature. Parliament, therefore, has exceeded its powers conferred by the Constitution in enacting subsection 4 of Section 8 of the Act, and accordingly subsection 4 of Section 8 of the Act is ultra vires the Constitution 36. In order to nullify the above ruling of the Supreme Court, the Representation of the People, Second Amendment and Validation, Bill, 2013 was introduced in the Parliament. However, the bill was later withdrawn by the government. Ceiling on election expenditure increased in 201,437. The central government raised the maximum ceiling on election expenditure by candidates for a Lok Sabha seat in bigger states to 70 Indian rupees lakhs, from earlier 40 Indian rupees lakhs. In other states and union territories, it is 54 Indian rupees lakhs, from earlier 16 to 40 Indian rupees lakhs. Similarly, the limit for an assembly seat in the bigger states was increased to 28 Indian rupees lakhs, from earlier 16 Indian rupees lakhs. In other states and union territories, it is 20 lakhs, from earlier 8 to 16 Indian rupees lakhs. The state-wise limits are mentioned in Table 73.1 at the end of this chapter. Photos of candidates on Evms and ballot papers. According to an Election Commission order, in any election being held after May 1, 2015, the ballot papers and Evms will carry the picture of the candidate with his or her name and party symbol to avoid confusion among the electorates in constituencies where namesakes are contesting. The June 2015 by-polls to 6 seats in 5 states were the first elections where photographs of candidates were used on ballot papers. The Commission has noted that there are many cases where candidates with same or similar names contest from the same constituency. Although appropriate suffixes are added to the names of candidates in the event of 2 or more candidates having same name, the Commission considers that additional measures are required for removing confusion in the minds of electors at the time of voting. The photograph will appear between the name of the candidate and his or her election symbol. The Commission explained that if a candidate fails to provide the photograph, it shall not be a ground for the rejection of the nomination of the candidate. The candidates will now be required to submit their recent photograph, either black and white or colored, to the election authorities at the time of filing nomination. No uniforms would be allowed and caps and dark glasses have to be avoided. 38. Ceiling on cash donations lowered. In 2017 budget, the limit for anonymous cash donations by any individual to a political party has been lowered from 20,000 Indian rupees to 2,000 Indian rupees. This means that now the political parties cannot receive more than 2,000 Indian rupees as cash donations. However, they are not required to inform the Election Commission of India the details of persons who donate under 2,000 Indian rupees. They must keep records of persons making above 2,000 Indian rupees donations. Cap on corporate contributions lifted. In 2017 budget, the limit on corporate contributions from 7.5% of the net profit of a company's past 3 financial years has been removed. This means that now a company can donate any amount of money to any political party. Further, the obligation of the company to report such donations in its profit and loss account has also been lifted. Introduction of electoral bonds. In 2018, the central government notified the electoral bond scheme. This scheme was announced in the 2017 budget. It is touted as an alternative to cash donations made to the political parties. It is aimed at bringing clean money and substantial transparency into the system of political funding. The salient features of the scheme are: I. The electoral bond means a bond issued in the nature of promissory note, which is a bearer banking instrument and does not carry the name of the buyer or payee. 2. The electoral bonds may be purchased by a citizen of India or entities incorporated or established in India. 3. The electoral bonds can be used for making donations to only those registered political parties which have secured not less than 1% of the votes polled in the last general election to the Lok Sabha or the State Legislative Assembly. 4. The electoral bonds can be encashed by an eligible political party only through a bank account with the authorized bank. V. The electoral bonds are issued in the denomination of 1,000 Indian rupees, 10,000 Indian rupees, Indian rupee 100,000, Indian rupee 1,000,000, and Indian rupee 100,000,000. 6. The information furnished by the buyer is treated confidential by the authorized bank and is not to be disclosed to any authority for any purposes, except when demanded by a competent court or upon registration of criminal case by any law enforcement agency. Foreign funding allowed. In 2018 budget, the receiving of foreign funds by the political parties has been allowed. In other words, the political parties can now receive funds from the foreign companies. Accordingly, the Foreign Contribution, Regulation, Act, 2010, has been amended. Under this amendment, the definition of a foreign company has been modified. Table 73.1 Limit on election expenditure, as declared in 2014. SL No. Name of state or union territory. Maximum limit of election expenses in any one. Parliamentary constituency. Assembly constituency. I states. Indian rupee. Indian rupee. 1. Andhra Pradesh. 70,00,000, 28,00,000. 2. Arunachal Pradesh. 54,00,000, 20,00,000. 3. Assam. 70,00,000, 28,00,000. 4. Bihar. 70,00,000, 28,00,000. 5. Goa. 54,00,000, 20,00,000. 6. Gujarat. 70,00,000, 28,00,000. 7. Haryana. 70,00,000, 28,00,000. 8. Himachal Pradesh. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 9. Jammu and Kashmir. 70,00,000, 10. Karnataka. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 11. Kerala. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 12. Madhya Pradesh. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 13. Maharashtra. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 14. Manipur. 70,00,000, 20,00,000, 15. Meghalaya. 70,00,000, 20,00,000, 16. Mizoram. 70,00,000, 20,00,000, 17. Nagaland. 70,00,000, 20,00,000, 18. Odisha. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 19. Punjab. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 20. Rajasthan. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 21. Sikkim. 54,00,000, 20,00,000, 22. Tamil Nadu. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 23. Tripura. 70,00,000, 20,00,000, 24. Uttar Pradesh. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 25. West Bengal. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 26. Chhattisgarh. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 27. Uttarakhand. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 28. Jharkhand. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 29. Telangana. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 2 Union Territories. 1. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. 54,00,000, 2. Chandigarh. 54,00,000, 3. Dadra and Nagar Haveli. 54,00,000, 4. Daman and Diu. 54,00,000, 5. Delhi. 70,00,000, 28,00,000, 6. Lakshadweep. 54,00,000, 7. Puducherry. 54,00,000, 20,00,000. Notes and references. 1c Electoral reforms of 1996, discussed later in this chapter. 2 In 1998, the BJP-led government appointed an 8-member committee on state funding of elections under the chairmanship of Indrajit Gupta, a former Home Minister. The committee submitted its report in 1999. It upheld the argument for introduction of state funding of elections. It stated that state funding of elections is constitutionally and legally justified and is in public interest. 3 For recommendations of the Commission in this regard, see Chapter 80. 4 This came into force on March 28, 1989. Consequently, amendments were also made in the Representation of the People Act of 1950 and 1951. 5 Representation of the People, Amendment, Act of 1988. 6 Ibid. 7 Amendment to the Representation of the People Act of 1951 with effect from March 15, 1989. 8 Section 58A has been inserted in the Representation of the People Act of 1951 by Act 1 of 1989. 8A Annual Report 2013-14, Ministry of Law and Justice, Government of India, p.67. 9 Representation of the People, Amendment, Act, 1996, with effect from August 1, 1996. 10 As defined in Arms Act, 1959. 11 Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections, Amendment, Act, 1997. 12 Representation of the People, Amendment, Act, 1998. 13 Representation of the People, Amendment, Act, 1999. 14 Election Laws, Amendment, Act, 2003 and Conduct of Elections, Amendment, Rules, 2003. 15 Order dated March 27, 2003. 16 Representation of the People, Amendment, Act, 2003. 17 Election and Other Related Laws, Amendment, Act, 2003. 18 Ibid. 19 Ibid. 20 Ibid. 20A Election Commission of India Circular dated February 12, 2009. 21 Representation of the People, Amendment, Act, 2009, with effect from February 1, 2010. 22 Ibid. 23 Ibid. 24 Ibid. 25 Ibid. 26 Representation of the People, Amendment, Act, 2010, with effect from February 10, 2011. 27 The amendment was notified vide SO 3242, E, dated October 24, 2013. 28 Electoral Statistics, Pocket Book 2015, Election Commission of India, p.96. 29 Ibid. 30 India Votes, The General Elections 2014, Election Commission of India, p.18. 31 Ibid. 32 Ibid. 33 Chief Election Commissioner vs Jan Chowkidar, 2013. 34 vide The Representation of the People, Amendment and Validation, Act, 2013. 35 Lily Thomas vs Union of India and Lok Prahari vs Union of India, 2013. 36 The Hindu, MPs, Malays to be disqualified on date of criminal conviction, July 10, 2013. 37 Conduct of Election Rules, 1961 as amended in 2014, with effect from February 28, 2014. 38 The Economic Times, Electronic Voting Machines to Carry Photos of Candidates, CEC, September 9, 2015. 74 Voting Behavior. Meaning of voting behavior. Voting behavior is also known as electoral behavior. It is a form of political behavior. It implies the behavior of voters in the context of elections in a democratic political system. Voting behavior, or the study of voting behavior, is defined in the following way. Plano and Riggs, voting behavior is a field of study concerned with the ways in which people tend to vote in public elections and the reasons why they vote as they do. Gordon Marshall, the study of voting behavior invariably focuses on the determinants of why people vote as they do and how they arrive at the decisions they make. Point 1. Oinamkulabidhu, voting behavior may be defined as the behavior that explicitly reflects voters' choices, preferences, alternatives, ideologies, concerns, agreements, and programs in respect of various issues, questions pertaining to the society and nation. Point 2. Stephen Washby, the study of voting behavior involves an analysis of individual psychological makeup and their relation to political action as well as institutional patterns, such as the communication process and their impact on elections. Point 3. Significance of voting behavior. Psephology, a branch of political science, deals with the scientific study of voting behavior. This is a new term popularized by the American political scientists and political sociologists. The recorded history of voting goes back, at least, to the Greek polis. The modern world for the study of voting behavior, psephology, derives from the classical Greek psephos, the piece of pottery on which certain votes, mainly about the banishment of those seen as dangerous to the state, were inscribed. Point 4. The study of voting behavior is significant for the following reasons. 5. 1. It helps in comprehending the process of political socialization. 2. It helps in examining the internalization of democracy as a value among the elite as well as masses. 3. It emphasizes the real impact of revolutionary ballot box. 4. It enables to throw light as to how far the electoral politics continue or break with the past. 5. It helps to measure whether it is modern or primordial in the context of political development. According to N.G.S. Kinney, voting behavior can be regarded as 1. A mode of legitimizing democratic rule. 2. Instancing participation in the political process involving integration into the political community. 3. Instancing an act of decision-making. 4. A role action involving definite political orientation embedded in a particular type of political culture, or 5. A direct relation of the individual citizens to the formal government. Determinants of voting behavior. Indian society is highly diversified in nature and composition. Hence, voting behavior in India is determined or influenced by multiple factors. These several factors can be divided into two broad categories, namely, socio-economic factors and political factors. These are explained below. 1. Caste. Caste is an important factor influencing the behavior of voters. Politicization of caste and casteism in politics has been a remarkable feature of Indian politics. Rajni Kothari said Indian politics is casteist, and caste is politicist. Point 6. While formulating their election strategies, the political parties always take into account the factor of caste. Paul Brass has very well explained the role of caste factor in the Indian voting behavior in the following way: at the local level, in the countryside, by far the most important factor in voting behavior remains caste solidarity. Large and important castes in a constituency tend to back either a respected member of their caste or a political party with whom their caste members identify. However, local factions and local state factional alignments that involve inter-caste coalitions are also important factors in influencing voting behavior. Point 7. 2. Religion. Religion is another significant factor which influences the electoral behavior. Political parties indulge in communal propaganda and exploit the religious sentiments of the voters. The existence of various communal parties has further added to the politicization of religion. Despite India being a secular nation, no political party ignores the influence of religion in electoral politics. 3. Language. Linguistic considerations of the people influence their voting behavior. During elections, the political parties arouse the linguistic feelings of the people and try to influence their decision-making. The reorganization of states, in 1956 and later, on language basis clearly reflects the significance of language factor in Indian politics. The rise of some political parties like DMK in Tamil Nadu and TDP in Andhra Pradesh can be attributed to the linguism. Point 8. 4. Region. regionalism and subregionalism play an important role in voting behavior. These parochial feelings of subnationalism led to the emergence and perpetuation of regional parties in various states. These regional parties appeal to the electorate on the ground of regional identities and regional sentiments. Sometimes, the secessionist parties call for the boycott of elections. 5. Personality. The charismatic 9 personality of the party leader plays an important role in electoral behavior. Thus, the towering image of Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Jayaprakash Narayan, Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Narendra Modi has significantly influenced the electorate to vote in favor of their parties. Similarly, at the state level also, the charismatic personality of the regional party leader has been a significant factor of popular support in the elections. 6. Money. The role of money factor cannot be overlooked in explaining the voting behavior. Despite the limitations on the election expenditures, crores of rupees are spent on elections. The voters seek money or liquor or goods in return for their votes. In other words, votes are freely exchanged for notes. However, money can influence the decisions of the voters only in the normal circumstances and not in a wave election. Paul Brass has very well explained the meaning of a wave election in the following way: a wave election is one in which a clear tendency begins to develop among the electorate in a single direction and in favor of a national party or its leader. It is based upon an issue or set of issues that transcend local calculations and coalition and draws the bulk of the uncommitted and wavering voters in the same direction as the word spreads from village to village and tea-stall to tea-stall. 10. 7. Performance of the ruling party. On the eve of elections, every political party releases its election manifesto containing the promises made by it to the electorate. The performance of the ruling party is judged by the electorate on the basis of its election manifesto. The defeat of Congress Party in 1977 elections and that of Janata Party in 1980 elections illustrates that the performance of the ruling party influences the voting behavior. Thus, the anti-incumbency factor, which means dissatisfaction with the performance of the ruling party, is a determinant of electoral behavior. 8. Party identification. Personal and emotional association with political parties plays a role in determining voting behavior. People who identify themselves with a particular party will always vote for that party irrespective of its omissions and commissions. Party identification was especially strong in the 1950s and 1960s. However, since the 1970s, there has been a decline in the number of strong party identifiers. 9. Ideology. The political ideology professed by a political party has a bearing on the decision-making of the voters. Some people in the society are committed to certain ideologies like communism, capitalism, democracy, secularism, patriotism, decentralization, and so on. Such people generally support the candidates put up by the parties professing those ideologies. However, it must be printed out here that the number of such people is low. 10. Other factors. In addition to the above explained factors, there are also various other factors which determine the voting behavior of the Indian electorate. These are mentioned below. I. Political events preceding an election like war, murder of a leader, corruption scandals, etc. 2. Economic conditions at the time of election like inflation, food shortage, unemployment, etc. 3. Factionalism, a feature of Indian politics from bottom to top levels. 4. Age, old or young. V. Sex, men or women. 6. Education, educated or uneducated. 7. Habitation, rural or urban. 8. Class, income, rich or poor. 9. Family and kinship. X. Candidate orientation. 11. Election campaign. 12. Political family background. 13. Role of media. Role of media in elections and voting behavior. The following points explain the role of media in elections and voting behavior. 11. 1. Information dissemination. Information dissemination in relation to elections, particularly during the process of elections, is extremely important for all stakeholders. Starting from the announcement of elections to nomination, scrutiny, campaign, security arrangements, polling, counting, declaration of results, etc., all of these require widest circulation. The voter comes to know about the basics like what, when, where and how of elections generally through the media. Even last-minute changes of polling arrangements, violation of Model Code of Conduct, MCC, and violation of expenditure instructions, any untoward incidents or disturbances promptly come to the notice not only of the people but also of the Election Commission through the media. Newspapers and news channels have very enthusiastically made use of the information relating to educational, financial, and criminal antecedents of candidates, contained in the affidavit filed by them along with their nomination paper, which is immediately uploaded on the Election Commission's website. This has contributed to further honesty and transparency in the election system. 2. Enforcement of MCC and other laws. In today's democratic and political landscape, the watchdog role of the media is quite vital. Media can highlight incidents of use of muscle and money power by political parties or candidates and educate the electors on ethical and inducement-free voting practices. It can also expose violations of the MCC such as divisive or hate speeches or unverified allegations in campaigns aimed at influencing electors. Violations reported by media are followed up by the Election Commission as in dealing with formal complaints. The media can sensitize the political functionaries and the electorate about the MCC and relevant laws and instructions governing the conduct of elections. 3. Compliance to election laws. The Election Commission does not regulate media. It has, however, the responsibility to enforce the provisions of law or court directions, which might have linkages with media or certain aspects of media functioning. During elections, media is present and active at all stages, which would also mean that they too conform to various laws governing the elections. These laws are mentioned below. I. Section 126 of the Representation of the People Act, 1951, it prohibits displaying any election matter by means of cinematograph, television, or other similar apparatus, during the period of 48 hours ending with the hour fixed for conclusion of poll. 2. Section 126A of the Representation of the People Act, 1951, it prohibits conduct of exit poll and dissemination of their results during the period mentioned therein, i.e., the hour fixed for commencement of polls in the first phase and half hour after the time fixed for close of poll for the last phase in all the states and union territories. 3. Section 127A of the Representation of the People Act, 1951, the printing and publication of election pamphlets, posters, etc. is governed by its provisions, which make it mandatory to bear on its face the names and addresses of the printer and the publisher. 4. Section 171H of the Indian Penal Code, it prohibits incurring of expenditure on, inter alia, advertisement without the authority of the contesting candidate. 4. Voter education and participation. There is scope for a much larger and committed partnership from media in the crucial area of voter awareness and participation. This is one of the most promising areas of the Election Commission media relationship. There is a gap between what the voters should know and what they actually know in important areas like registration, epic/identity proofs, polling station location, use of EVMs, timings of the poll, use of money/muscle power by candidates, etc. The elector should be well informed when he/she goes to exercise his/her franchise on the day of the polls. Voter education helps build an environment where values of democracy are understood and acted upon by the population. Media and civil society have an important role to play in fostering such an environment. To improve participation of all sections of the electorate, awareness levels need to be enhanced, especially amongst the freshly eligible youth, uneducated, residents of far-flung, inaccessible, and remote areas, and socially and economically weaker sections of the society. Such segments need to be reached through the media, apart from civil society and field-based organizations. The Election Commission has in place a framework of engagement for collaboration between the Commission and media houses/organizations in this important area of voter participation. The Election Commission expects that the media should volunteer to take up this task of informing, motivating, and facilitating citizens to take part in the democratic elections. 5. Responsibility of government media. In broadcast of election-related news or analysis, public service broadcasters are expected to lead by example in terms of neutrality and objectivity, and adhere to various guidelines including their own. The Election Commission has a fruitful arrangement with Prasar Bharati in providing free broadcast time on All India Radio and Doordarshan to recognized national and state parties so as to ensure a level playing field in elections. The political parties in this manner can reach out to every corner of the country, even in the remotest parts. In addition to this, Prasar Bharati's contribution in spreading voter awareness and educating the public about their voting rights and responsibilities is of great consequence to the inclusion of all in the electoral process. The contribution of Prasar Bharati has come in good measure in this arena. The Election Commission also urges PIB, DABP, National Film Development Corporation, Directorate of Field Publicity, Song and Drama Division and many other central and state information directorates/departments to come forward and shoulder the same responsibility. Notes and references. 1. Gordon Marshall, Oxford Dictionary of Sociology, 1st Indian edition, 2004, p.696. 2. Onamkulabidhu, Electoral Politics in Manipur, 1980 to 1995. Unpublished PhD thesis submitted to the Manipur University, 1998. 3. Stephen L. Washby, Political Science, The Discipline and Its Dimensions, 1972, Scientific Book Agency, Calcutta, p.308. 4. David Robertson, The Penguin Dictionary of Politics, 2nd edition, 1993, p.485. 5. K. R. Acharya, ed. Perspectives on Indian Government and Politics, 2nd edition, 1991, S. Chand and Company Limited, p.403. 6. Caste in Indian Politics and Politics in India are the two major contributions of Rajni Kothari to the study of Indian politics. 7. Paul R. Brass, The Politics of India Since Independence, 2nd edition, Cambridge University Press, pages 97 to 98. 8. Linguism means love for one's language and hatred towards other language-speaking people. 9. Charisma means exceptional and attractive qualities of a leader. 10. Paul R. Brass, The 1984 Parliamentary Elections in Uttar Pradesh, Asian Survey, June, 1986. 11. Handbook for Media 2014, Election Commission of India, pages 14, 17. 75. Coalition Government. Meaning of coalition government. The term coalition is derived from the Latin word coalitio, which means to grow together. Thus, technically, coalition means the act of uniting parts into one body or whole. Politically, coalition means an alliance of distinct political parties. Coalition politics or coalition government has been defined in the following way. When several political parties join hands to form a government and exercise political power on the basis of a common agreed program/agenda, we can describe the system as coalition politics or coalition government. 1. Coalitions usually occur in modern parliaments when no single political party can muster a majority of votes. 2 or more parties, who have enough elected members between them to form a majority, may then be able to agree on a common program that does not require too many drastic compromises with their individual policies, and can proceed to form a government. 2. Coalition denotes a cooperative arrangement under which distinct political parties, or at all events members of such parties, unite to form a government or ministry. 3. Coalition is a direct descendant of the exigencies of multi-party system in a democratic setup. It is a phenomenon of a multi-party government where a number of minority parties join hands for the purpose of running the government. A coalition is formed when many splinter groups in a house agree to join hands on a common platform by sinking their broad differences and form a majority in the house. 4. Features of coalition government. The features or implications of coalition politics or coalition government are very well summarized by J.C. Yohari in the following way: 5. 1. Coalitions are formed for the sake of some reward, material, or psychic. 2. A coalition implies the existence of at least two partners. 3. The underlying principle of a coalition system stands on the simple fact of temporary conjunction of specific interest. 4. Coalition politics is not a static but a dynamic affair as coalition players and groups dissolve and form new ones. 5. The keynote of coalition politics is compromise, and rigid dogma has no place in it. 6. A coalition government works on the basis of a minimum program, which may not be ideal for each partner of the coalition. 7. Pragmatism and not ideology is the hallmark of coalition politics. In making political adjustments, principles may have to be set aside. 8. The purpose of a coalition adjustment is to seize power. In our country, we have seen coalitions coming up either before the elections or after the elections. The pre-poll coalition is considerably advantageous because it provides a common platform to the parties in order to woo the electorate on the basis of a joint manifesto. The post-election union is intended to enable constituents to share political power and run the government. 6. Formation of coalition governments. In the first four Lok Sabha elections, 1952, 1957, 1962, and 1967, the Congress Party secured the required majority to form the government at the center. Even though there was a split in the Congress Party in 1969, the minority government of Indira Gandhi managed to continue with the outside support of the CPI, the DMK and other parties. Again, the Congress Party won the 1971 elections and formed a single-party government. However, the dominant Congress Party was badly defeated in the 1977 elections. Since then, there have been a number of coalition governments at the center. The details are mentioned in Table 75.1. Table 75.1 Formation of coalition governments at the center. SL No. Period. Coalition. Prime Minister, Party. Partners. 1. 1977 to 1979. Janata Party. Morarji Desai, Congress, O. Congress, O. Bharatiya Janasan, Bharatiya Lokdal, Socialist Party, Congress for Democracy, Chandrasekhar Group, former congressman, and others. 2. 1979 to 1980. Janata Party, Secular. Charan Singh, Janata, S. Janata, S, and Congress, U. Congress, I, supported from outside. 3. 1989 to 1990. National Front. VP Singh, Janata Dal. Janata Dal, TDP, DMK, AGP, and Congress, Socialist, BJP and left parties supported from outside. 4. 1990 to 1991. Janata Dal, Socialist, or Samajwadi Janata Party. Chandrasekhar, Janata Dal, S, or Samajwadi Janata Party. Janata Dal, S, and Janata Party. Congress, I, supported from outside. 5. 1996 to 1997. United Front. HD Devgogda, Janata Dal. Janata Dal, CPI, Congress, T, DMK, TDP, TMC, AGP, SP, and others. Congress and CPM supported from outside. 6. 1997 to 1998. United Front. IK Gujral, Janata Dal. Janata Dal, CPI, TMC, SP, DMK, AGP, TDP, and others. Congress supported from outside. 7. 1998 to 1999. BJP-led coalition. AB Vajpayee, BJP. BJP, ANK, BJD, Shiv Sena, Lok Shakti, Arunachal Congress, Samita, Akali Dal, PMK, TRC, and others. TDP and Trinamool Congress supported from outside. 8. 1999 to 2004. National Democratic Alliance, NDA. AB Vajpayee, BJP. BJP, JD, U, Trinamool Congress, Shiv Sena, BJD, LJP, DMK, PMK, INLD, MDMK, National Conference, Akali Dal, RLD, AGP, and others. 9. 2004 to 2009. United Progressive Alliance, UPA. Manmohan Singh, Congress. Congress, NCP, DMK, RJD, LJP, PMK, and others. CPI and CPM supported from outside. 10. 2009 to 2014. United Progressive Alliance 2, UPA 2. Manmohan Singh, Congress. Congress, NCP, DMK, Trinamool Congress, National Conference, and others. 11. 2014 to 2019. National Democratic Alliance, NDA. Narendra Modi, BJP. BJP, LJP, TDP, Shiv Sena, Akali Dal, Rashtriya Lok Samata Party, Apna Dal, S, and others. TDP left NDA in 2018. 12. 2019 till date. National Democratic Alliance, NDA. Narendra Modi, BJP. BJP, Akali Dal, LJP, Shiv Sena, and others. Shiv Sena left NDA in November 2019. Merits of coalition government. The various advantages or strengths of the coalition governments are as follows. 1. There is an accommodation of diverse interests in the functioning of the government. A coalition government acts as a channel to meet the expectations and redress the grievances of different groups. 2. India is a highly diversified country. There are different cultures, languages, castes, religions, and ethnic groups, and all these get represented in the coalition governments. This means that a coalition government is more representative in nature and it better reflects the popular opinion of the electorate. In other words, it represents a much more broader spectrum of public opinion than the single-party government. 3. A coalition government comprises different political parties having their own ideologies or agendas. But, the governmental policy requires the concurrence of all the coalition partners. Therefore, a coalition government leads to consensus-based politics. In other words, there is consensual decision-making in the coalition governments. 4. Coalition politics strengthens the federal fabric of the Indian political system. This is because a coalition government is more sensitive and responsive to the regional demands and concerns than the single-party government. 5. A coalition government reduces the tyranny of government, despotic rule. This is due to the reduced domination of a single political party in the functioning of the government. All the members of the coalition participate in the political decision-making. In short, the decisions made are more balanced. Demerits of coalition government. The various disadvantages or weaknesses of the coalition governments are as follows. 1. They are unstable or prone to instability. The difference of opinion among the coalition partners on policy issues leads to the collapse of the government. 2. Leadership of the Prime Minister is a principle of parliamentary form of government. This principle is curtailed in a coalition government as the Prime Minister is required to consult the coalition partners before taking any major decision. The critics have called them as super prime ministers or ultra prime ministers. 3. The steering committee or the coordination committee of the coalition partners acts as the super cabinet, and thereby it undermines the role and position of the cabinet in the functioning of the governmental machinery. 4. There is a possibility of the smaller constituents of the coalition government playing the role of a kingmaker. They demand more than their strength in the parliament. 5. The leaders of regional parties bring in the regional factors in the national decision-making. They pressurize the central executive to act on their lines, otherwise, they would threaten to withdraw from the coalition. 6. The size of the Council of Ministers in a coalition government is generally quite large. This is because the ministry has to reflect all the constituents of the coalition. For example, The AB Vajpayee ministry of 1999 had 70+ ministers and it was called as Jumbo Ministry. This creates the problem of distribution of portfolios as well as the proper coordination among the members. 7. The members of coalition governments do not assume responsibility for the administrative failures and lapses. They play blame games and thereby escape from both collective responsibility as well as individual responsibility. Notes and references. 1 Guy, KK, Indian Government and Politics, 8th edition, Kalyani Publishers, Ludhiana, 2012, p. 508. 2 Robertson, D., The Penguin Dictionary of Politics, Penguin Books, London, 1993, p. 73. 3 Ogg, F.A., Encyclopedia of the Social Sciences, Volume 2, New York, 1957, p. 600. 4 Sahni, N.C., The Theory of Coalitions. In Sahni, N.C., ed., Coalition Politics in India, Jalandhar, 1971, pages 17 to 18. 5 Johari, J.C., Reflections on Indian Politics, New Delhi, 1974, pages 3 to 5. 6 The Journal of Parliamentary Information, September 2000, XLVI, 3, p. 394. 76 Anti-Defection Law. The 52nd Amendment Act of 1985 provided for the disqualification of the members of Parliament and the state legislatures on the ground of defection from one political party to another. For this purpose, it made changes in 4 Articles 1 of the Constitution and added a new schedule, the 10th Schedule, to the Constitution. This act is often referred to as the Anti-Defection Law. Later, the 91st Amendment Act of 2003 made one change in the provisions of the 10th Schedule. It omitted an exception provision, i.e., disqualification on ground of defection not to apply in case of split. Provisions of the Act. The 10th Schedule contains the following provisions with respect to the disqualification of members of Parliament and the state legislatures on the ground of defection. 1. Disqualification. Members of political parties. A member of a House belonging to any political party becomes disqualified for being a member of the House, a. if he voluntarily gives up his membership of such political party, or, b. if he votes or abstains from voting in such House contrary to any direction issued by his political party without obtaining prior permission of such party and such act has not been condoned by the party within 15 days. From the above provision it is clear that a member elected on a party ticket should continue in the party and obey the party directions. Independent members. An independent member of a House, elected without being set up as a candidate by any political party, becomes disqualified to remain a member of the House if he joins any political party after such election. Nominated members. A nominated member of a House becomes disqualified for being a member of the House if he joins any political party after the expiry of 6 months from the date on which he takes his seat in the House. This means that he may join any political party within 6 months of taking his seat in the House without inviting this disqualification. 2 exceptions. The above disqualification on the ground of defection does not apply in the following 2 cases. A. If a member goes out of his party as a result of a merger of the party with another party. A merger takes place when 2/3 of the members of the party have agreed to such merger. B. If a member, after being elected as the presiding officer of the House, voluntarily gives up the membership of his party or rejoins it after he ceases to hold that office. This exemption has been provided in view of the dignity and impartiality of this office.